Saturday Night Motorsport, live and exclusive to the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting Memorial Day weekend in the United States. So it's only fitting that we get stuck into a Memorial Day Cup event as far as Weekend Warriors stock car racing is concerned. Good evening, everybody. Zach Caban and the great man JP with you in the producer's seat and the booth tonight as we bring you live and exclusive coverage of SimShed Broadcasting's Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine Memorial Day Cup Weekend Warriors action for you here. And of course, this is the jewel in the crown of the season, the Memorial Day Cup. If you thought the Anzac Cup last month was anything to go by, this is going to be well worth the price of admission for the next 3 hours or so. Looking forward to a big night in the booth here. Over 30 cars on track. We've got pre-race festivities, very similar to what we had on Anzac Day, to tear through here very shortly. JP's alongside me, mate. Good evening to you. Normally in my ear, next to me in the booth tonight. We've got a couple of drivers jumping in for chat here as well, straight off the top. This is going to be a big night, JP.
Yeah, good evening, Zach, and good evening, viewers. It's going to be a great night tonight. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Indeed. Hey, straight off the top, Mark Johannesson's in here. Actually, no, he's just jumped out. Scott McClintock's in here, however, and now Mark Johannesson is back as well. Stay with me more than 5 seconds here, Mark. Good evening to you. Are you in a position tonight to be able to repeat the heroics of the Anzac Day Cup, mate?
Oh, it's going to be hard. I've got a lot of good drivers here tonight. I have to say, if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on either David or Derek, our two American drivers, mate. They'd be pretty fired up tonight.
Well, I was going to say, David's here in the booth for a chat here at the top of the broadcast. Are we on the East Coast or the West Coast or somewhere in the middle, Dave?
We're on the West Coast.
On the West Coast. So 17 hours behind Australian Eastern Standard Time. So it's just a nice 2:22 a.m. in the morning there, correct?
That is correct.
How's
good morning.
the coffee brewing at this point in time, mate, as we say good morning to you?
I'm pumped and ready to go. This is a big race for this series, and also a big race for us because Memorial Day is this Monday over here in the United States. So we're just gonna try to just keep it safe, keep it clean, and hope for a good finish.
The race is about 310 miles tonight, nearly 500 kilometres in the metric scale, but we are going imperial tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see imperial numbers on the graphics here, so keep your eyes peeled for a bit of American education. Dave, what's the key to Las Vegas, please?
Well, both the turns are really different. 1 and 2, you just got to ease in a little bit, otherwise the back end's going to get free. And 3 and 4, you can basically go full throttle. It's just basically if you can save your tires in the late stages of the race. I feel like this is going to be a kind of a fuel mileage race. I believe. I don't think there's gonna be many cautions. So if you can just save your tires and keep your nose out of trouble, you'll be there in the end.
Mate, we wish you the very best of luck. Of course, qualifying not too far away. We've got pre-race festivities to get through before that, though. We'll touch base with you throughout the morning your time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, David Duran there from the West Coast of America. Mark Johannesson, that is the beauty of iRacing and the Weekend Warriors and the fact that the series reaches far and wide and we get over to the other side of the world.
Most certainly, mate. Unfortunately, with the time difference, we don't get a lot of guys from over there racing with us, but the ones that do, we appreciate and enjoy racing against them.
Yeah, we do. Also in the booth here to have a chat with us he's just gone, is Barry Neal. We'll get to him in a moment. Here he is now. Paul Jackson here as well. We'll go to Paul first if we can. Paul, good evening to you. What are your thoughts on the upcoming race here, please?
Yeah, plenty of fast guys. We'll just go out there and do what we can do and see what happens.
Now, we've got US, New Zealand, and Australian drivers represented in this race, folks. David Durand, of course, along with Derek Jacobs from the USA. Paul Jackson's part of the New Zealand contingent, along with Barry Neal and Bill Hickey. And, of course, from the Australian standpoint, a couple of drivers to keep an eye out here for, including Michael Schroeder, Scott McClintock, and also Mark Johannesson as well. In the meantime, let's go to Paul again. Can the Kiwis topple the Aussies and the Yanks tonight, mate?
Oh, I think it's quite possible. Had pretty good pace in the Anzac race there and was running up the front. So, always sort of finishing towards the top in the top five, we're trying to do anyway. So, and Barry, my teammate's here tonight as well. So, I think Barry will run quite well here as well. So, yeah, should have a strong showing for the New Zealand side as well. And Ruben's quite fast too. So,
Yeah, indeed. Very good luck to you tonight. Let's bring Barry Neal in at this point in time. Because Barry, if you can unmute your microphone there, mate, let's have a chat to you. Let's just explore for a moment the fact that on our timesheets here, you were towards the top end of town in practice, so things are looking good pace-wise. But on the back of what Paul said, racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway is completely different to racing at Talladega. So you've got to take a different approach tonight.
Yeah, I think you can't really tell much from practice because some people get drafts and some people don't. So I think it's all about making sure that you look after your tires and keep out of trouble. 207 laps, so you don't really need to worry about anything until the last 50 or so. And basically, you just got to keep out of trouble, keep your car in good shape, and see how it plans out in the end.
We're running a little bit short for time because they want to get the pre-race festivities up and running a couple of minutes early here. So we'll let you go to be a part of that. Of course, you're going to see a track parade, not dissimilar, ladies and gentlemen, to what we had in the Anzac Cup. Barry, best of luck tonight, mate. Hopefully we'll be checking in with you after the race.
Excellent, thanks. Have a good commentary.
We'll do our best, mate. We'll try. Tripping over the tongue already, as is Barry. It's contagious. It's infectious, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Johannesson, we're getting set for the pre-race festivities here. And as I was just explaining to the audience, and I'll let you elaborate on it for me, the pre-race festivities here, very much similar to what we had for the Anzac Cup, which, can you believe it, was 5 weeks ago?
That long ago. Jeez.
Just talk us through what we're about to see here, please, mate.
Very similar to the Anzac Day one, mate. Last post or taps, as the Americans call it, minute silence. Then we'll play Reveille. Then we'll go into our parade laps with the national anthems, and then we'll get down to the dirty and go racing.
We will, of course, qualifying in there as well, mate. Thank you for that. We'll check in with you very shortly. All right, JP, you're in charge. Mr. Music, as we'll call you for the next 10 minutes or so. Let's get stuck into the pre-race festivities here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Memorial Day, such a special weekend in the United States of America. You look at the Indianapolis 500 and the Coke 600, two of the grand babies in American motorsport on Memorial Day weekend. So let's take this moment now to play our small part in it by observing the US military taps, which is their equivalent of the last post, of course. We'll have 1 minute silence after that, and then Reveille as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we'll pause for a minute's silence, and then Reveille will kick in straight after that. Fine tingling stuff, as it always is when those respective tunes are played, ladies and gentlemen. The hairs on the back of the neck always stand up. Now we'll invite you to stay standing, and we'll invite you to stay with us here as we go from Reveille into the three respective national anthems as the cars take to the circuit for the parade laps here. The 8 drivers out there we mentioned earlier, David Duran and Derek Jacobs from the USA, Mark Johannesson, Scott McClintock and Michael Schroeder from Australia, Barry Neal, Paul Jackson, Billy Hickey from New Zealand, of course, all of our military personnel, servicemen and women that have served their nations so well. So as they take off for some parade laps, we will go into the American National Anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, then into Advance Australia Fair, and we'll finish it off with God Defend New Zealand. The national anthems for you, ladies and gentlemen. Setting the scene, firing us up for a big night here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Great to have your company. And on the subject of the West Coast, we're going to jump back on board with David Duran now. In the Chevrolet here for WAFL Motorsport. David, you're going to talk us through a couple of hot laps here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What are the keys to the track?
Just gotta, like I said, 1 and 2 is just really throttle management. Like I said, the back end would like to get out as the run progresses, but you know, and 3 and 4 you can basically run all out, and you know, just you don't want to turn the car too hard because then you'd be wasting your tires. So what I like to do personally is like to run in the middle. You're not wearing your tires out too much, basically in and out of the throttle just to keep the nose straight.
So you're getting a good look at David Durand in action here in the number 24 for you, ladies and gentlemen, and round onto the back straight. David, one question I have, you mentioned there that you'd prefer to run mid-track. Is there, so that's the key fast way around, in your opinion?
You can run anywhere you like, but personally the middle is the way to go because you can still gang up on somebody, gang up on their draft, and make a run at them. That's just what I've run all my league races here, or all my races that I run. I run the bottom early, then once the run progresses, I kind of get towards the top because you can run anywhere on this racetrack. I'm at darn setups or fixed races, you can run anywhere around here.
Very nicely done, mate. And of course, tyre wear you were talking about is going to be a big key factor tonight. Is there much chance for fuel saving along the way here?
Possibility. Everybody's going to have a different strategy. Depending on what the cautions are going to be like and when they come out, and also how people get taken out as well. So it'd be a little fuel saving after 20-25 laps. Then you can see where you go from there.
On stuff, mate. Thank you very much for taking us for a little bit of an excursion around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, mate. Good luck in qualifying. We'll check in throughout the night.
All right, thanks, guys. David
Duran there early on a Saturday morning in the USA. Go, JP.
I'm just going to interrupt you there, Zach. Just send a few shout-outs to a few viewers there. Chris Scull is with us tonight. Hey, Chris, how you going there? Alex Court's with us as well. Hey, JP and Zach. Wow, dedication, 2:20 a.m. That's about David Duran, and that is dedication, getting up at that hour of the morning to be able to race. But I think I remember last week David was saying he works night shifts, so that probably works well for him.
It certainly does. And, I mean, some night owls thrive, and this is his time to shine. I mean, I used to be a night owl, then I started commentating sim racing 6 nights a week, and I'm now a morning person for some reason. So it's funny how that works,
Funny
isn't it?
that.
Yeah. When you look at the fact that you get to the end of a broadcast 10:30 p.m. 11 o'clock, sometimes you crash over and keel into a little ball, I'd say, at the end of the night, and you're happy to fall asleep within about 5 minutes. Back once upon a time, you'd be still out at the pub having a couple of coldies at that time of the night. You wouldn't be crashing until 4 o'clock the next morning, but it is what it is. It's the way life works in swings and roundabouts. Qualifying is underway here for you, ladies and gentlemen, for Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine. Let's, at this point in time, take this opportunity to have a look at our championship points here after the latest couple of rounds of the season. I haven't been able to keep up with the Weekend Warriors in recent times, but Darren McKenzie is still the four-man, 410 points. David Duran's jumped up into second, 377. Josh Carroll Walden on 342. 10 back is Paul Jackson. Stephen Williams, 328. And Dylan Davies, 321. Mark Johannesson, after that stellar win in Talladega, 277. Then Greg Spencer, 269. 262 for Adam Ariel. And then, of course, Scott McClintock on 250 points. Barry Neal, Ruben Phelps, Cade Donnelly, Jamie Nankervis, and Tristan Koch take us back to 15th position. We'll let the points keep rolling there for you. and we'll soon update you on the race information with regards to tonight. Parry Aristarchus will be missing from the grid. You just saw his name down there in 20th position. Missing from the grid tonight because he's on his way. He's up here in Queensland at the moment, where I'm based and where JP's based as well. He's up here getting ready for a cheap car rally. You know what I'm going to say, but I can't say it because it's not 7:30 in the West yet, so I've got to be mindful of G ratings and etc. and so forth. But yes, the box rally, as we'll call it for the moment, it is underway in a couple of weeks as they embark on their journey towards the Northern Territory. Qualifying underway here. Josh Carroll Walden, the early pace setter, the early benchmark, 100th of a second faster than Darren McKenzie. Aiden Schultz, Schultzy, he's ready to go. I tell you what, he's been looking forward to this. He's been in my seat. Well, I'm in his seat tonight, so he's been here keeping the seat warm for me to step in on the big marquee event of the season throughout the last month, calling all the action for you. But he decided he's been pretty adamant about his desire to have a run here in the cockpit. He is sitting 5th fastest now because he's just been passed by Devon Stove and also Justin Witcher. Ruben Phelps 6th, Nigel Patton 7th, Kobe Jordan 8th. David Duran's just slotted himself up into 5th position there as well. Barry Neal to 3rd. If you don't mind, Michael Schroeder 11th, Kobe Jordan back to 10th in all of that. So it's fluctuating through the order. We don't have a time clock there on the top of the totem pole, but I'm reliably informed that we've got 1 minute before the qualifying session is over. Probably an opportune moment for us, because most of the big heavy-hitting business is done, to have a look at the race info for tonight. As I said, we're going Imperial tonight for you, ladies and gentlemen, with all race info. So you'll see it on the screen here, 1.5 miles. We'll start converting things once we get underway here for you as best we can. I've got no idea when it comes to gallons and litres, but I'm pretty good with miles and Ks. 207 laps, 310.5 miles. It is the smallest smidgen under 500 kilometres in metric. 15 gal fuel restriction, but look at that, only 0.33, a third of a gallon burn per lap. So it's going to take a while to get to 15, about 45 laps or thereabouts. And when you look at that, 45, 100, 180, it's going to be definitely a 4-stop race. Possibly, you might even see a couple of guys stop under safety car a couple of times, under caution, and it might become a 5 or 6-stop race as we go here. It's all about strategy. 5-set tyre limit here as well. Race facts and information, we're set to 7:30 track time, so we're about 17 hours into the future of where David Durand is at the moment. Our air temp is 78 Fahrenheit, 84 on track, 1.8 miles is the wind, and it's heading in the northerly direction for you there tonight. We have truly gone Imperial. Have a look at all of that. Looking forward to this race. Cars are lining up on the grid. The warm-up lap will be getting underway very shortly. The pace laps as we get set to go here. If and when the grid is ready, JP, bring it up. We'll have a look and let everyone know who's starting where. David Duran from pole position and Josh Carroll Walton alongside Darren McKenzie and Barry Neal from row 2. Devon Stove and Justin Witcher from row 3. Then Aiden Schultz from row 4. Then Ruben Phelps alongside him, Michael Schroeder and Nigel Patton. Then Kobe Jordan and Reese May from row 6. I've got Aiden Schultz in the booth. I'm going to grab him for a quick chat here in just a moment. Let's run through the rest of the grid. Billy Hickey, Stephen Williams, Nathan Button and Dylan Davies, then Greg Dale and Matt Patton, then Reese Bolitho from 19th, and alongside him is Will Jesberg, Mark Johannesson and Stuart Patterson from row 11, and then Shane Newens and Christopher Tomlin from row 12. They're heading off behind the caution pace car now. Where are we? Nathan Legg and Adam Ariel from row 13, Scott McClintock and Tristan Koch from 14, Paul Jackson and Derek Jacobs from 15, Michael Shaw from 16. Aiden Schultz, good evening to you, mate. You happy with P7?
Good evening to you, Zach. Yeah, happy with it, mate. It was a good lap. It's going to be a little bit loose here early until the sun comes down, but yeah, happy to be P7 Toyota Crank Esports car coming in tonight. So yeah, very happy with that.
That's the beautiful thing about this race. We're going to go from sunset into the night. It's going to be a pretty sight. What's the strategy? What's the game plan here, mate?
To be honest, keep out of trouble. It's a long race. The race ain't going to start until probably 20 or 30 laps, or on the last stop, to be honest. We can go green to the end, so just keep out of trouble and and get this car up the front, hopefully, for you guys.
Yeah, well, hopefully so, mate. We'll try and drag you in and out of the race channel throughout the course of the night and check in with you as we go here, mate. Thanks for that.
No worries. Drag me whenever you want, mate.
Copy that. I'll drag you out as well.
Good luck, mate.
There he is. We wish Aidan Schultz all the very best. JP, as the great Darryl Waltrip once said, we're getting ready to go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's get this race on. Pace car pulling it around onto the main straight now. When it pulls off the circuit, we go racing. 207 laps ahead of us. A big night at the office for these guys. It is the Memorial Day Cup, the latest round of the Weekend Warriors Stock Car Series, and one car further back in the pack, ready to go pretty early. Away we go.
They've all gotten away pretty cleanly.
Conversion off the line. Yeah, I was going to say, nice clean conversion off the line from David Durand, and everyone away cleanly, which was your observation, JP. And let's watch them settle into a rhythm here.
Kind of almost like he caught JCW napping there off the line and just got away from him.
Yeah, Carol Walton got absolutely swamped back to fourth position. But again, as Schultz just said before we got underway here, and watch that, that's an important thing to note too, ladies and gentlemen. You will see a bit of below-the-line racing here. You don't see it at Daytona and Talladega. NASCAR doesn't allow it, but you will see it here in Las Vegas. You will see the drivers, particularly on the main straight there, go below that white line. They are allowed to do it. We just want to clarify that off the top. Lap 2 at 207. As Aidan said, it's not going to be one now. It's going to be one in the last 20 laps. Once that last caution's thrown, once the last pit stops are done, then we duke it out. Now it's just a little bit about strategy play, positioning yourself, hedging your bets and weaving your way through the traffic, trying to set up a couple of people as you go here too. Car off. There was one car very wide up top there. I don't know if he's hit the wall. Yes, he has. Oh, it's a big wreck. Reese Bolletto, 3, 4, 5 cars caught up in that. It all started with the green car that I spotted going high. He got loose, and we have a caution on lap 3.
Let's just go back to the simsnap.com iRacing replay and see what happened there.
So, we're watching Mark Johannesson. Oh, yeah, the trouble started before that. It was that green car at the top. We'll have a look at, we'll have to get on board with the green car. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count them, ladies and gentlemen. All those cars in very early trouble. Now, they don't get fast repairs here, do they, JP?
No fast repairs for these guys, so they're going to be they're going to be in the pits, glum-faced, getting repairs on their cars, or they might even just leave the server altogether, which will be unfortunate.
Certainly would be. And have a look at pit lane. It's a swarm of traffic at the moment. Reese Bolletto, Nathan Legg, Mark Johannesson, Derek Jacobs, all in there. And just look at the smoke blowing out of Reese Bolletto's car. An early caution. A bit too early to talk strategy or really get a feel of what's going on, so I won't bother annoying Aidan Schultz or anyone else at this particular point in time. We've got a lot of drivers standing by, happy to have a chat to us throughout the course of the night, but the guy that we will lean upon is our expert commentator, Aidan Schultz. David Durand, the early leader. So, big movers in all that, JP. Christopher Tomlin made the most of the shenanigans going on further down the order there. He moved up 5 positions, up into 19th. And Scott McClintock and Tristan Koch and Paul Jackson all moved up 4. Adam Ariel in the 55 has displaced Jackson now. They're both on pit road as well. They've only just gone to pit road, having joined Michael Shaw, Reese Bolletto, Mark Johannesson, Nathan Legg and Derek Jacobs there. Michael Shaw, the first of the cars back out onto the racetrack, but by G, it's going to be a sore and sorry sight down on pit road. Already 6 cars in trouble, and we're not even a tenth of the way through the race.
Yeah, 100%. I think that might have been a little bit of red mist descending way too early there for these guys. And like you said, 207 laps. All that's going to be on their minds right now is just setting themselves up for those last handful of laps, after that last pit stop, to get them home. So right now it's all about keeping it clean, just managing their tyres, managing their fuel, and managing their race.
You mentioned the red mist descending, and that's an interesting point that we'll focus on here because it looks like the caution is going to go at least another lap, maybe Oh, no, lights out on the pace car. We'll go green this time by. So quickly, JP. You mentioned the red mist descending. On a big occasion like this, and we hype it up as one of the big events of the season, it goes right up there with the Anzac Cup. This is the Memorial Day Cup. It's easy to understand why a little bit of nerves, a little bit of excitement might get to the guys this early.
100%. Nerves would definitely be playing a factor for these guys with this kind of a race. So it would be absolutely paramount for these guys to sort of calm themselves down and find their groove as quickly as they can.
David Duran's jumped into the broadcast booth very quickly here, mate. Sorry I missed you jumping in there, but so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, like I said, if we can stay up front, keep out of trouble, I think we have a good shot at winning this thing tonight.
All right, mate. Well, we appreciate you stopping on by. We won't annoy you too much because racing's about to get underway. So we'll check back in with you a little bit later on. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate that. Darren McKenzie and David Duran there. McKenzie the outside, Duran the inside. We're about to get back to green here. The Memorial Day Cup, Weekend Warriors. Oh, how good. Saturday night motorsport, NASCAR style. Here we go. Back to green. This time by the line. The pace car pulls off onto the pit road, and we go back to racing with 6 cars still stuck on pit road. Duran leads the field away.
Another good start by Duran.
Great start from Duran, but immediately, did you see McKenzie straight across to the high line to tuck in behind and get the toe from Duran? It's not as effective on these sort of ovals as it would be, say, Talladega or Daytona, but he needed to keep Josh Carroll-Walden at bay and Devon Stove as well.
Yeah, 100%. Josh is no slouch. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, Darren McKenzie did well to cut JCW's run there.
Across the line we go. That's lap 7 in the books. Lap 8 of 207. They've only got 200 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Only. And interesting to note, 30-odd seconds is about the lap speed around here. So, oh no, we've got another caution. Straight away, another caution.
Looks like Shane Ewan.
Wow.
Let's go to the replay and have a look at that.
All right, StimSnap.com iRacing Photography replay. And this is the second moment of the night. Oh, geez, got too low and then got turned. Bang. Ewan's gone. Took another bystander with him. That's another 2 for the casualty list.
Yeah, that's just too early in the piece to be going through this, unfortunately.
Las Vegas, unfortunately, we all remember this circuit for being the scene of Dan Weldon's fatal crash 10 years ago, and I can't believe I'm saying 10 years ago. Jeez, it doesn't feel that long. It is a fast racetrack. Doesn't matter what you're driving. It's one of those racetracks where there's no margin for error. And we've already seen that on 2 occasions so far, and we're only on lap 9. So David Durand is still the leader. Darren McKenzie is second. Josh Carroll-Walden is third. Devon Stove is fourth. Aiden Schultz has jumped up into 5th position. Then Barry Neal and Ruben Phelps as well.
There you go.
Ooh,
the dummy.
Sucker punch. David Durand throws a big dummy to Darren McKenzie, and McKenzie's on pit lane. Well, he's a tactical player, this David Durand. I like him. I like it.
Hey, the wily fox.
Exactly. Lap 10 of 207. So Stephen Williams, the other car that might have been caught up in that incident. There are a lot of cars on pit lane at the moment. We've got Darren McKenzie going down the order at the moment. Stephen Williams is there as well. Dylan Davies. Paul Jackson, Scott McClintock. Shane Newans, Michael Shaw, Adam Ariel, Derek Jacobs. Although Jacobs is back out on the racetrack. Reese Blitho, Mark Johannesson and Nathan Legg. Wretched luck for Mark Johannesson this early, I have to say. We're not going to see a repeat of the heroics from Talladega from him tonight. One of the favourites already gone. Interesting to note, too, that we've got the top 2 exactly where they started. We've got 2 positions gained each for Devon Stove, Ruben Phelps and Michael Schroeder. They're all in the top 10. You've got 3 positions gained for Aiden Schultz in 4th there. So some slow and steady movers as the night goes on, and they're making the most of those little green periods we're having as we get stuck into the race here. 3 positions also gained for Reese May. Nigel Patton remains where he starts and rounds at the top 10. What's interesting for mine, JP, I was talking about the fact that this circuit is, it's one of those ones because it's high speed, because of the shape of it and the banking and all those other things. There's no margin for error. But at the same time, only 30 seconds a lap around here, so we're looking at if we keep getting cautions, we're going to stretch out much further. But if you can divide that by 2, that 207 number, that's 103.5. So you're looking at an hour and 3/4 if you get a clean run. That's not the case. We're looking at a solid 2 hours of racing here.
Yeah, 100%. And this, I was just thinking that that stop that, what was that? That was Darren McKenzie. That stop that he took might end up by playing into his hands.
You're absolutely right, because, well, by the numbers that you've given us in the broadcast here, and I'm just having a look to see where we are with regards to the safety car. Are we getting ready to go this time by or next? The fact of the matter is that we've got, on those numbers, 45 laps to a tank. So that's 4 stops. 45, 90. Lights are still on, so we're going to go around one more time. 45, 90, 135, and 180. And that last stop only has to be 27 laps. If you can, if you can save enough fuel throughout the course of the night to make that work now that you've stopped once, if you're Darren McKenzie, you could be having the last laugh on lap 207. We'll wait and see. We'll watch that with interest, because we know that all those numbers that we've given you are based on a green number run, a green flag run, rather. So now that they're saving fuel behind the safety car, we've got the lights out. These fuel runs, as we saw with the race from Iowa that we commentated at the start of the month, they will start to stretch it out, and it might get to, they might be able to stretch it to 50 or 51 laps. We'll wait and see. Mark Johannesson is in the booth. Unfortunate for you, mate. It's been a frustrating start. What happened?
Just someone got loose and got up into the outside wall, and just come rolling back down track and nowhere to go, mate. Straight into him.
How badly damaged is the car? How long are you going to be stuck on pit road for?
I'm going to park it, mate. There's another 33 minutes of damage to be repaired.
Oh, no. Oh, geez. That must be hugely frustrating, mate, considering that it is a Memorial Day Cup, considering what Memorial Day represents.
Yeah, it's racing though, mate. It's one of them seasons. We all do it, and in real life racing too. We've had the race car I'm involved with. We've had seasons like that where you go a whole season without wrecking anything, and then the next season you end up wrecking every week just about, and at no fault of your own.
Exactly. Mate, stay with me, because there's one more question I want to throw at you before you go and jump into the other channels here. Well, let's get back to work firstly, though. Lap 13 is underway. David Durand, another beautiful conversion off the line from him. Jeez, he's nailing these rolling starts tonight. Devon Stove went with him straight down the inside of Josh Carroll Walden. Barry Neal as well. Gets by Aiden Schultz, and Schultz goes back by him. So they're side by side coming down the back stretch at the moment. There's the 52 on screen of Schultz on the outside. On the inside is Neal. He's got him covered at the moment. Nice run from Aiden Schultz off the restart here. Ruben Phelps going up on the inside as well. So he went with Schultz, and Barry Neal slots back into 6th. Again, a great restart, particularly for Durand. But Stove and Walden are going to have a duke out.
And this is going to play in the hands of Durand. He's going to let him sort of skip away slightly.
And an inch is as good as a mile here, Mark.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a benefit for him to get out. Clean air.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
We got a problem. Sorry, guys. Looks like we might have an issue with Billy Hickey here.
Still under green at the moment. We'll follow that with interest. Billy Hickey slipped back to 25th position. He's limping around slowly.
Let's go to the replay and see what's happened here.
Now, this is the other question I was going to ask you, Mark Johannesson, on the back of this replay. Oh, geez, what a moment. He's gone round. He's gone round. He's smacked the wall, and he's somehow kept this race under green. That's astonishing. That would, in most other instances, have been a yellow flag, but they haven't thrown one, the iRacing server. So that's interesting. Mark, are you surprised that we've had 2 cautions so quickly? Bang, bang?
No, not really. This place is pretty slippery. You get some warmth in your tyres. You just got to just do gentle, and then once you get warmth in your tyres, you can really start to have a go. But yeah, it's racing. You'll probably find now that it'll settle down, and we'll have a long green flag section.
And we'll wait and see if it plays into their hands the way it did in Iowa, where most of the cautions represented a fuel window. So if it balances out like that, great. If not, green flag pit stops completely throws the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, definitely. And at that point, it's anyone's race. These guys here at the front, they're pretty cluey on how to get the max out of their tyres and how to fuel save a little bit. So
now, oh no, caution one more time. Here we go. Caution number 3, and we're only on lap 18, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just Matt
geez.
Patterson. And look, we'll go to the replay here. I was about to say that we've sometimes seen in these races early caution periods,
no.
and then they tend to sort of calm down a little bit. Oh no, that was bad.
No. Was that the same car that got caught up in the first incident?
Yeah, first one, yeah, in the very first one. Look, also if you get your lefts down below that white line down here on this track, it will turn you. It's just a very fine line of either a little bit of trickery there.
That's fooled a few people actually. David Duran, he's just taking everyone for a turkey tonight, isn't he? He's just reeling them in and sucker punching them. It's good tactical play. He's outsmarting everybody. So Duran continues to lead from Josh Carroll-Walton. Hey, Mark, just while we've still got you here, Reese Polito, how badly is he damaged? Is he going to have to park it as well, mate?
Oh, I think so, mate. He's got front and rear. Where I've only got the front, so I say he's done for the night. But yeah, we'll wait and see.
And of course, we should point out that most of the other guys have got back out onto the racetrack that were involved in that incident, but they are several laps down. 5, 6, 7. Take your pick. Mark, thank you for that. Feel free to stay with us and hang out here in the booth for the course of the night. We haven't got too many people to talk to at the moment. It's just JP and I having a lovely time out on a Saturday night, the last one of May. I'm going to bring in our old mate Aidan Schultz here if I can for the moment, because he's sitting in 4th position at this point in the race. Schultzy, have you got me?
Yeah, got you a copy, mate.
And good to have you on board as per usual. She's a bit of a stop-starter, this one.
Yeah, unusual. Usually it's a bit clean. I don't know what's happening at the back, but a bit of fun up here in front.
You've made good progress. For every caution, you've gained a position.
Yeah, slowly but surely, mate. Not really trying to make the move. Nearly got into Devon there at one stage when I just caught the apron, trying not to really make a pass, but yeah, just trying to settle down and get into the groove. It's been a little bit hard when we're going under yellow, but yeah, we'll see how we go moving on the back end of the race.
We've been watching the action up front. David Durand, he's playing a bit of cat and mouse with that pit lane line.
Yeah, he definitely is. He chat with us as well. Yeah, he's playing cat and mouse. I think Darren McKee got caught out on that one. I think last caution, but in saying that too, he was topped up on fuel. So we'll see how that works at the back end of the race for Darren.
You're only 20 laps into 207. You realise it's going to be a pretty long night. Mark was saying we've had Mark Johannesson in the booth during the last stint here because he's out of the race. But he was saying if you get your lefts down below the white line, it's going to turn you. And the second thing he said was it takes a while for the old tyres to warm up in Las Vegas. What are you finding of all of that so far?
Yeah, you got to be really tentative on that first lap just to get in. Proof. Definitely, if you get down below the white line, it will turn around. You saw that when I nearly got into Devon. Ruben had to back up behind me. I wasn't trying to make the pass, but yeah, it's exactly right in what he's saying. But generally, once you get under green for 2 or 3 laps, warm the tyres up and get them in, you see some racing strategy pay off.
Indeed. Hey, mates, thank you for that. We'll let you go and focus on the task at hand, of course. what's interesting here is a couple of people have been sucker punched by David Duran. They've gone in for an early stop. How are you playing this strategy-wise? Are you happy to run as long as you can in this opening stint, or will you eventually come to the lane under a caution?
At this stage, I'm going to run the tanks, run it down, but it'll be dependent. I'm going to follow what the leaders. I'm at the front, so you don't want to bury yourself back in the pack. But at this stage, if we go green, I'll be running it right out and get some flag running. Otherwise, if we do have another caution, another 10, 15 laps, and the leaders pit, I'll be following.
Righty, mate. Thanks for checking in. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Good luck.
No worries, mate. Thank you for jumping. Jump in anytime.
Aiden Schultz doing nicely there at the moment. He's running well. Slow and steady wins the race. He's slowly creeping his way forward, but this is the guy he's got to beat. The number 24 on your screen at the moment, Chevy of David Duran. They're on the west coast of America. So we're running pretty much in line with Australian Eastern Standard Time in terms of the race time was scheduled for around 7:30 server time. 17 hours difference, and that's where David Duran finds himself at 3:09 in the morning. I didn't realise that we'd gotten past 8 o'clock already. Here we go. Restart number 3. So 3 cautions already in 21 laps. Let's wait and see how long. Play bingo, safety car bingo. Wait and see how long it takes us to get to the next one. Away we go again.
David held him there, held long there. He didn't make a jump. I thought JCW may have got the jump then.
I was going to say, once the restarts play out and it's in the leader's hands, it's interesting. Some people are happy to hit the gas and get going immediately, and then Duran was happy to back the pack up and just let everyone settle in behind him and sort themselves out. He's done that nicely. Carol Walden got past Devon Stove off the restart. Schultz is there in 4th. Then Ruben Phelps and Schroeder. Then Mackenzie, Patton and Patterson. That makes up the top 9, and Kobe Jordan is 10th thus far. Let's hope we get a good green flag run, JP.
Yeah, and a bit of interesting information here. Look at Darren McKenzie. He went in for that last, on the previous caution period, and he's made his way back into 6th place. So, like I said, this might actually work out in his favour.
If he can save enough fuel, that's the tactic, because otherwise you're looking at a 5-stop race, you're looking at an extra stop, and you probably don't want that. Gamble to come in early, but we've had enough caution laps to save some fuel thus far. As I said, once you get to lap 27, you're in that window. It's a 4-stop race, is the way I see it. That's the critical number. You either run from 27 and then do 45 lap stints from there, or you run 45 lap stints and then do the 27, or if you want to get really technical, you take a couple of laps off those full fuel runs and then even it out, so that 207 divided by 5, you're looking at 41, 42, aren't you? So interesting to see how these guys play it out.
It'll be interesting too later on in the race to see who keeps that 5th set of tyres up their sleeve.
That's critically important too, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, when you get to that last stint, fresh rubber is going to be king, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Especially if we end up with a green-white checker.
Yeah, a little bit of overtime, exactly. And no reason why we won't end up with some overtime based on what we've seen thus far. Oh, geez, I tell you what, Mackenzie down low. Both chopping across to defend the position. This is the battle for 3rd. They're trying to go with the leaders, Carol Walden and Duran. And now here comes Schultz down the inside of Mackenzie.
Yeah, Schultz is
this is good stuff.
Doing a great job there.
Another lap in the books. So Schultz across the line. Up the high line. We've got Mackenzie on the low line at Schultz. In behind them, you've got Phelps and Schroeder. So Schroeder's made good progress. Patterson behind them, 8th position, up 14 positions. Biggest mover of anyone so far tonight. It's that critical number, lap 27. That's the number I was talking about. If you were talking about green flag runs, 27's the first critical number, because now you can stop 4 times and get home. But because of fuel saving, that number becomes earlier and earlier. So we're already past a critical point of the race as far as that is concerned.
So what these guys are from 2nd back to probably 10th need to do is start to get into groups and start working together. and try and close that little gap that David's got. Because if they keep fighting with themselves, it'll let David stretch his legs even further.
Well, there's probably a couple of different ways to play it, isn't there, Mark? You could try and run with him and not let him get away, or you could just let him set off into the sunset, well, literally in this case, because the lights are on in Las Vegas, because there'll be a consensus, a belief within the contingent here that we're going to get safety cars that will continue to bring him back to the field.
Yeah, but I mean, say that'll be the case, but then you look at his speed there. You need to. If it was up to me, I'd be trying to work with one of these other guys, try and get a little group together, to try and see if you can catch him. Because if you can't catch him early, you're not going to catch him later.
That's exactly right. Devon Stove.
Aiden Schultz just made that move on.
Passed by Aiden Schultz. Yeah, very nice one, JP.
And it almost looks like David is really in the groove at the moment. He's feeling supremely confident. He's eked out a nice lead there to JCW. It will be interesting to see how his tyres last this stint.
Even with five sets of tyres, I think Scott and myself, we were talking that we'd probably have to do, to get a good spread of tyres, is a stint and a half on this first set. So that'll play into some other guys' hands, like Darren, that's already been in taking fuel. They won't have to come in and do that extra stop.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I mean, so just for clarification, and this is not just for me but also the viewers at home, when we say 5 sets of tyres, is that 5 sets of race tyres, or is that 5 sets of tyres to get you through practice quali and then the race?
No, it's 5 sets of race tyres. So the set you start with plus 4 others.
Okay, so essentially, if you can turn this into a 4-stop race, if you can make this on 4 stops, you should be okay. Take a fresh set at each stop. However, if damage or whatever else creeps into the situation and you've got to do 5 or 6, you've got to be picky, haven't you? You've got to be selective of where you put those tyres on, and that's what you were just talking about a few moments ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And
now,
just interrupting, a few comments here coming through the socials. Lazarus Leonard, nice to watch something other than the V8s for a change. Well, yeah, Laz. Hope you're enjoying those scotches tonight, mate.
That's it. Good to have Lazarus Leonard tuning in. Alex Court as well. The NTS boys, of course, on the platforms of Simshed Broadcasting. They'll be here Tuesday night. Second last round of the Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series. You'll see it from 8:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Race start 8:30, and beautiful Brands Hatch, the venue. That is going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Don't worry about that. All wide almost. They're going in at different angles into turn 3 and 4. It's getting hairy out there.
You can get a 3-lane through here, if you get the right. If people get up high against that wall, you can run around the top against the wall, but you need a group of 3 or 4 of you to get that draft happening. Otherwise, it's just a waste.
Indeed it is. Great to have you on board as well, Mark Johannesson. Great that you're able to stick around and have a chat to us. Unfortunate circumstances, the result of that, of course, you've ended up out of the race very early on. Incident on lap 3 that claimed 6 cars, 2 of which have retired from the race, and of course 4 more of which are several laps down in proceedings here. We've had 3 cautions thus far. We're on lap 36 of 207, so I mean only a slender 170 odd laps to go here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Weekend Warriors. So Mark, just update us, because I haven't actually seen the last couple of rounds of the series due to other commitments, and there might be a few floating viewers coming in and out for a variety of different reasons. But just update us on the last few weeks as far as the series is concerned, and who's been impressing, who's been disappointing, and who we should be keeping an eye out for throughout the rest of the evening based on what we've seen thus far, other than maybe David Durant and Josh Carroll-Walton, because I think that's a given.
Yeah, look, they're the 2 that you'd have to have your money on. But in saying that too, there's people like Dan Darren McKenzie has been up there at the pointy end. He's taken a win in the last couple of weeks. Michael Schroeder, you can never count him out. And Barry Neal and Paul Jackson, they're both. Paul's got third last week, I think, by memory. And Barry's always a hard charger when he's on.
Have a look at this, a little bit of hip and shoulder here as they come through turn 4 onto the main straight. Oh, geez, almost 3 wide coming down towards turn 1. The start-finish strike at the end of lap 38, onto lap 39 now. The 0.6 there of Ruben Phelps under pressure from Reese May on the bottom line and Barry Neal in behind them. Neal's one to watch, as Johannesson was just saying. So 39 at 2.07, here comes Neal, looking for the inside line. Now, you heard what David Duran said at the top of the broadcast. The middle of the circuit is the place to be, according to him.
Yeah, around the middle. What I was doing, but it didn't work off for us. We were running low in 1 and 2 and middle in 3 and 4. That just seemed to be the best gripping in the practice there. So different guys you can see there in 1 and 2. Most of them are trying to get down on the low line.
They are. Now, lap 40. Now, interesting to note, Darren McKenzie's the best of those that's already stopped. Lap 4, position 4, lap 9 he stopped. Lap 18 was when Stephen Williams stopped. He's sitting 6th at the moment. We're having a look. I'm just trying to get an indication here. Devon Stove has dropped all the way down to 18th position. Not really sure what's going on for Devon Stove, but he's dropped well down the order. Could be a tyre issue, who knows? But he, along with Kobe Jordan, Stuart Patterson, Chris Tomlin, Nathan Button, Ruben Phelps, Nigel Patton, Michael Schroeder, Aidan Schultz, Josh Carroll-Walden and David Duran yet to stop in this race. We're on lap 42. We're starting to get towards a critical and interesting point here because we'll get an indication of how much fuel they've been able to save through, 8 or 9 laps of caution running so far, with how far they're able to stretch this tank beyond maybe 45 laps.
I reckon around lap 47 you'll start to see guys dive into the lane for fuel. I reckon most of them would have been able to save enough fuel maybe to get to lap 50 max.
Lap 50 max. That'll be interesting to see. Oh, well, that being said too, I mean, given that this is only a 1.5 mile as opposed to somewhere like Talladega or Daytona markets, it's going to, your fuel save's going to be less here than what it is on the longer circuits for very obvious reasons.
True. If you can save a lot more at Talladega and Daytona, where you can have a run down the back, put your foot on the clutch, get up high in the corners and let it roll down the hill through that tri-oval at Talladega and Daytona. But here you can't really do a lot like that. You've just got to be easy on the gas through those cautions.
Sorry, guys, I'm just going to interject here. Something pretty
You're
interesting
right,
happened last lap. Dave Duran just gave away about 0.3 of a second to JCW there. No idea why, but as you can see, JCW has closed that gap on David Duran quite a bit.
Round they go onto the back straight. One more time. Maybe that's just Duran's way of easing off the throttle, because he has gone pretty hard. He has set a pretty good pace here so far. We'll wait and see if it's tactical or if there was an issue for the American on the West Coast. Barry Neal has got through to 5th position now, having got past Stephen Williams and Reese May. Williams wanting to force the issue on the high line, though. May down the bottom moves up top to get the toe, maybe, to try and get the slipstream from Williams. And then he goes back down low to hang with Barry Neal. He can't quite make up his mind which dance partner he wants to team up with here. And you'll see a bit of that tonight, I'm sure. Lap 46 now. It's Durand, Walden, Carroll-Walden rather, McKenzie, Schultz, Neal. So McKenzie's got back by Schultz, of course. They're having a good little duke out, though. Only 0.06 of a second separates them. Have a look at that. And Schultz is running the high line right now.
Yeah, it's taken him a few laps, but he's gotten back to where he started. Darren McKenzie has, but Aiden's certainly not giving up. He's going to battle hard for that spot.
We would expect nothing less from him, to be perfectly fair.
The admin have got a little bet on how far he's going to get tonight, and unfortunately, he's already got past where I guessed.
Well, that being said, there's a long way to go. Wait and see. Anyone back in for the win?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
we all thought, no, he's been out of the seat too long. But I'll tell you what, I'm impressed. He's going all right there in fourth.
JP, do we have information on the current sim time at the moment, like the machine server time? Do we have any info on that we can have a look at on screen here?
Let's bring up some info and have a look at that.
There we go. So May 29, 2021, the clock strikes 8:08 in the evening, and the only reason, because I like ammunition, the only reason I wanted to show you that, ladies and gentlemen, is to say, Queensland, that's what it could look like. That's all I wanted to say. That's a beautiful daylight saving evening in Las Vegas. Suck it and see. Let's see how many people take the bait on that. I'm fired up tonight. I'm ready for an argument.
Don't worry,
May
folks.
29, 2021.
Don't worry, folks. I'll take his soapbox off him.
There it goes. It'll be gone.
Have a look at this, Zach. Change
yeah,
for the lead.
absolutely. Dave Duran's slotted into second. Josh Carroll Walden's decided, I want to have a lead, a chance at leading this race. I want to have a turn. You've been hogging the limelight. Let me have a go. And now they've got past lap 50 mark. Here we go. That's the end of 50. 51 we're on now.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised that they got the 51 because I thought they wouldn't have been able to save enough fuel to get much more.
And JP, as for the previous point, if you think that's good enough, the Belgium server we had up earlier in the week, the sun wasn't setting till after 10 o'clock, so that was really ammunition for me. Good stuff. Through they go, lap 51. How much further can they stretch this, ladies and gentlemen? They're on to 52. And Schultz and Barry Neal now, side by side, and Neal goes down the inside. Oh, this is good stuff.
Now,
really good stuff.
This is really interesting, Zach. JCW's gotten past Dave Duran, and he has just taken off.
I actually think Dave may have pushed a bit too hard on his tyres at that first couple of restarts.
And what's also interesting too now, boys, is they've spread out and they've settled into a pattern, they've settled into a rhythm. We had 3 very quick cautions, but now it's going to take a bit of traffic and a it won't be just a one-car wreck. We've already seen one car turn itself around, throw itself in the wall, and it not trigger a caution. So you're going to have to rely on a bit more of this and someone coming unstuck and claiming a couple of innocent bystanders before we're likely to see a caution again.
I've got the race radio going in the background, and I've just heard some of the back markers starting to dive in, take fuel. So these leaders can't be far off.
Not at all. They're on lap 54 now. But the further they go here, the less likely they are to have to, to be fair, if they can stretch this out far enough and do the same with the help of a couple of cautions later in the race, they might just turn this into a 3-stop race, which would be astonishing.
It would be.
Well, look at that.
Dave's in.
54 laps. That's 55 laps. And David Durand is now in the lane. And that will be a fresh set of tyres, no doubt, going on to the 24. 55 at 2:07. We are past quarter race distance. I stress that because that's a critical point with regards to that pit strategy we're talking about. Will they turn this into a 3-stop race?
Aiden and Ruben are about to come into the pits. I've just heard them call it over the race radio.
JCW's in?
Yep, Josh Carroll Walden's in, Aiden Schultz is in. So they're both on the lane right now. 56 at 207. It's great to have you covered wherever you're tuning in on our platforms, the SimShed broadcasting across Facebook, or of course YouTube. We're live with you for Saturday Night Motorsport, the Memorial Day Cup Weekend Warriors Stock car racing on what is a huge weekend of motorsport. Of course, MotoGP from Mugello tomorrow night, the Italian Grand Prix Monday morning, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. It's a huge weekend, and the best place to be is on the couch. And as it's starting to get towards winter, ladies and gentlemen, that's probably the best place to be. Rug up in front of the fire with a heater or with a big warm blanket, and enjoy the plethora of sport unfolding here. Lap 57 at 2:07. Darren McKenzie now the leader. So this is interesting because obviously McKenzie pitted on lap 9 during that first caution. So he's in a position now where he might be able to stretch this out for another 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah.
Down the inside, Barry Neal. Barry Neal pitted on lap 18 as well. He fell victim of the sucker punch from the early race leader, Dave Duran. And now he goes to the lead. He's quite happy with himself. And what's working in these guys' favour too right now, not for much longer if it keeps going this way, but green flag pit stops mean that they can hold sway because they had a yellow flag pit stop. So they essentially got a free stop, a free splash and dash. Everyone else is now stopping under green, and that's another factor of this race that will be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely. That's for sure. You can always, well, I'd say probably 10 seconds under caution, because you can get in and you'll only drop 2 or 3 spots under the caution, where under green flag you may drop 8 or 9 spots, and then you've got to work that bit harder to get back.
On to the main straight one more time. Darren McKenzie. So how much further will these guys be able to stretch it? All the guys that stopped around like 9, 18 or 20 are back out there. Josh Carroll Walden, 55. That was the first anyone got on a tank. Now, if they can do that 3 times, they're home. But I doubt we're going to get 12 cautions tonight. If we do, it's going to be a long night at the office. Don't worry about that. Barry Neal, first position at the moment. So green flag pit stops playing out here. Early days of this Memorial Day Cup for the Weekend Warriors on, of course, Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine's sponsored product.
I've got Barry
Broadcasting. Here we go.
Barry coming up to some lower cars. Derek, one of our other American, he's heading for pit lane.
Now this is pretty interesting, Zach. The lap time disparity between the guys at the front here and guys like Joshua Carroll Walden, Aidan Schultz. These guys, last lap for Barry Neal and Darren McKenzie, were both in the mid-32s, 32.3 for Barry, 32.4 for Darren. JCW was a 30.5.
Sorry, JP, just heard over the race radio. Darren's heading for the pit lane.
Okay, copy that. So Darren McKenzie will be heading for the lane. Barry Neal, is he heading for the lane as well? No, he looks to be going on for another lap. So McKenzie in, Neal continues on. Sorry, JP, go on.
Yeah, so the disparity in lap times there is just over a second. So Josh Carroll Walden, Aidan Schultz, David Duran, they're catching up to the leaders by a little bit over a second a lap.
And it's interesting how all this is playing out, because Michael Shaw is the best placed of those a lap down, but he's also had one more stop than some of the front runners. He stopped on lap 20. Aidan Schultz and Josh Carroll Walden, the best placed at the moment. Carroll Walden, actually, look at that. That is quite extraordinary. Carroll Walden is a quarter of a lap, 7 seconds up the road on Aidan Schultz. So for 2 guys that were close enough on circuit going into that first round of pit stops, that's blown out in this second stint, this second stanza of the Memorial Day Cup. 64 of 207, make it 65 as Barry Neal comes back towards the main straight. Now watch for Neal. Does he go into the lane? No, he doesn't. He continues on again, as he can, as he stopped on lap 18. So the earliest he would come in on a full green flag run going according to script would be lap 73, if he wants to stretch it out that far, of course.
The only problem there is with the rate that Joshua Carroll Walden is catching up to Barry.
True. And that would suggest exactly what Mark was talking about earlier in regards to tyre wear, boys.
I think he may be coming in. He's the race radio lit up with him. So I say you keep an eye on him. He may be coming in this lap.
Copy that. Barry Neal could be on pit road by the end of this very lap. Josh Carroll-Walden continues on 7th position. I mean, we expect a caution a little bit later on tonight. We expect this race to toughen up and tighten a little bit between now and then. But for the moment, it's a little bit hit and miss. It's a little bit all over the place in terms of some key contenders are in the mid-pack, some key contenders are in the lane, some key contenders are at the front of the field. So it'll be interesting to see how it filters through when we get another caution somewhere down the line. Barry Neal continues on lap 67. Will he come to the lane soon? We'll wait and see. Williams, May, Witcher, then Jackson, Kosh, and Carroll-Walden. So where are we next week for the Weekend Warriors? Mark, while we've got you?
I'm 99% sure we're at Kentucky for the Finger Licking 400.
Now that'll be good fun. Kentucky and a very aptly named Finger Licking 400. If that doesn't make you feel like KFC, nothing will. On a Saturday night. Actually, there you go. Maybe we should get KFC on board as a broadcast sponsor.
Barry is in the pit lane.
Everyone gets a free bucket of chicken before the broadcast. In the lane, Barry Neal. Let's focus on the task at hand and not make myself any more hungrier than what I already am. Barry Neal on pit road. So too Justin Witcher. He follows Neal in. So there's 3 or 4 different strategies playing out there at the moment. And just recapping too, folks, we've got, just having a look down the order here, it would appear as though we've got Adam Ariel out of the race. Nathan Legg still on pit lane. He's been there for 21 minutes. Matt Patton as well. So we've got 6 cars in tremendous trouble or out of the race, whatever the case may be. Bill Hickey just disappeared on lap 40. He has not come back. So everyone else is still out there. So we've still got at least 25 runners. How many are in contention? Well, let's say 22. Let's be really generous and say 22 because that's how many are on their lap down. Now, of course, waiver rounds and all that sort of stuff do apply when we get the cautions. We didn't have too much of that in the earlier stages because we hadn't been racing long enough for anyone to go a lap down, apart from those that were caught up in incidents. Now, just updating you as well, ladies and gentlemen, I always like to do this, go around the grounds with the scoreboard update as Barry Neal works his way through down the main straight and going past Michael Schroeder on the inside to 10. Steve Williams, Paul Jackson on the lane now. So all those guys that stopped around lap 18 to 20 have not run a full fuel run second time round here. They've gone close, but not quite a full fuel run. Barry Neal down the inside makes light work of Ruben Phelps and goes to 8th. Now, that's the sort of dicing we like to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, duking it out for position here at the moment. Across the line we go again. Lap 71. So earlier today, if you're an NRL supporter, and I'll do the AFL a little bit later on in the next update, Panthers defeated the Bulldogs 30-4. Rabbitohs accounting for the Eels 38-20. Zach's 5 from 5 this week. You little beauty. And the Roosters are leading the Raiders 16 points to 10 at half time. And I'll get to the AFL a little bit later on. 72 of 207. And for those of you watching in America, AFL is very, very different to NFL. I don't even want to start describing the differences there. Just forget about it. Just maybe zone out when I go on and talk about AFL updates because you probably won't have any damn idea, which is good because that'll compensate the confusion we all feel when we watch National Football League over there in the United States from here in Australia as well. Righto. So great to have you with us, though, and particularly those of you on the West Coast, as we said there earlier. I mean, it's 3:30 in the morning, 4:30 east of that, then 5:30, 6:30 on the West Coast, on the East Coast rather at the moment, 6:30 on our West Coast as well, but it's PM. So a very early start for those of you that are tuning in from the United States. We hope you're enjoying it, and conversely, a very late finish for those of you tuning in New Zealand, where it's just gone 10:37. We're here on the east coast of Australia having a lovely time. 74 of 207. We're talking about the Memorial Day Cup. Now, Kentucky, the next stop. Have we had any road courses yet, Mark? Have we got any road courses?
Yeah, we've been to Watkins Glen for our annual rumble at the Glen. And round. I'm just looking at the program now. Well, I think the next one is round 27, Sonoma.
Sonoma's a good track for stock car racing. Don't worry about that. And immediately, my fingers are crossed that I'll be here for it. But my Saturday nights, my free Saturday nights, are few and far between at the moment. Next Saturday, I'll be in Warwick, whining and dining with some Hyundai Excel races, no doubt. I'm looking forward to that as well. 75 at 207 on screen there at the moment.
If you're in Warwick, just stop in and say good day to Mum and Dad for me, will you?
I'll bip the horn as I drive by. Don't worry about that for you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
There is Dave Durand, third position at the moment. The early race leader, the bloke that dominated early on, settling into his own little rhythm here in the second stanza of the race. We've had a very long, I don't want to jinx it, but we've had a very long green flag run here, folks. And if that's the recipe for the rest of the night, could be an interesting duke out. Here's Mackenzie down on the inside of Durand. Can he take Neil with him? This is the battle for third, and it's a hot one too. So Carol Walden and Schultz are first and second. They're two and a bit well, Schultz is 2 and a bit seconds down the road from this battle, but Carol Walden's lead is 7.2 seconds, if you don't mind, right now. Can anyone stop him? And that's extraordinary. I mean, you look at Durand and also Walden. One stop lap 54, the other 55, 14.7 for Carol Walden and 15.4 for Durand. And Durand, of course, just went thoroughly, solidly backwards in the closing stages of the opening stint. So it's amazing the advantage that Josh Walden's got at the moment. Clearly, he's got a tyre-saving trick that Dave Durand is yet to discover.
Did we just see Dave touch the wall there?
Yep.
Oh, I
we
tell you
sure
what,
did.
I thought it was bloody close. I didn't realise that he'd actually scraped the wall, but that could be a defining moment in this race. Hopefully for Durand's sake, there's no damage on that car, but he looks to be leading down on the low line here. He's not going to pit lane. He's coming around to complete another lap, so that's good to see. Further back.
I tell you what, that number 16 looks pretty good.
Further back, Scott McClintock in 10th position. 16.
Sorry, teammate.
well, that's exactly right. That's why he's there. And that's a good observation from you. It does look good, though. You're absolutely right. Scott McClintock, 10th position at the moment, in amongst a really good fight, actually. Reese May and Nathan Button are just ahead. Michael Schroeder's just behind. A four-way fight for position number 8, or 7 rather, on what is lap number 80. Justin Witcher there in 7th. Reese May behind him, then Nathan Button, Scott McClintock, Michael Schroeder. 5-way fight for 7th. Let's take this opportunity. Why not? First time tonight. Let's do it while we've got a chance, while we've got a moment. Let's crank up the volume and enjoy the stock cars hard at work around Las Vegas. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting, Short Shift, Sim Racing Magazine, Weekend Warriors, Cup Car Racing for you on a Saturday night. Saturday night motorsport on the back of, Tuesday and Wednesday night motorsport as well. Just about every night we bring you motorsport across various different platforms here in Australia. We're big on our iRacing on the back of COVID-19. Don't worry about that. Hey, it's 88 of 207. Still 120 laps to go. Look at this. We've picked up a cracking scrap here for second in the motor race between Darren McKenzie and Aidan Schultz. And McKenzie's found his way through. Schultz had been holding second pretty firmly up until then. He wants to force the issue on the outside. McKenzie tailing on the low line as well. They come through one. On lap 89. Side by side. Josh Carroll Walden is out to an 8-second lead here. McKenzie is now trying to get by Schultz and trying to get by to the point where he can comfortably say, yes, I'm second, and that is now. Job done. Schultz again still fighting. They're bringing Barry Neal into the mix as well.
Yeah, Aiden's done a fantastic job tonight. Sitting there in third place, he's just plugging away. Darren McKenzie, I think, as far as strategy is concerned, it's really played into his hands. But yeah, JCW has just skipped away now with an 8-second lead.
Certainly has. He's done a superb job early on here. Hope you're enjoying it at home. JCW, we were talking off there while you were having listened to the cars hard at work there about, as we watched the 16 of Scott McClintock under all sorts of pressure from Nathan Button in the 167. Button's trying to go around the high side. Now he tucks back in. We were talking about why or how Carroll Walden's managed to amass a 7-second lead, and we can only assume that there's been a slow in lap or a slow out lap somewhere for one of the cars behind him, or possibly the obstruction of lap traffic, JP.
Yeah, that's about the sum of it. There's nothing clear as to why JCW has been able to skip away to that kind of lead. Their lap times have been fairly consistent for the top 5 runners. And yeah, the only thing that we can surmise is that there must have been some lap traffic for the out lap for the guys behind, and perhaps a good run for JCW.
It doesn't take much to get held up. You've just got to get that car on that wrong line. Wrong line to get held up just that few seconds.
Stephen Williams there in 9th position. Apologies, I was just having a lolly. 93 of 207. You've got to have a sugar hitter on a Saturday night sometimes.
As you do.
And for those of you that have been following my socials, you'll know that I've been out in the heart of Ipswich today. We've been up at the Ipswich Showgrounds with West Brabant Radio here, live and local online in Ipswich, at the Business Expo Ipswich 2021 for the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and they've done a superb job up there over the last 2 days. We had 7 hours on air from in there in the precinct in the trade hall today, and a lot of great fun, a lot of great businesses out and about, showing that, yes, despite the fact that the Queensland economy might be absolutely screwed, Ipswich business is actually going not too badly at this point in time, and I've even pocketed myself a couple of Subway vouchers, so someone's going to Subway because there's discounts involved in the next short while. I'm looking forward to it. Josh Carroll Walden continues to lead from Barry Neal. The lead is 8 seconds. Darren McKenzie's all over the back of Neal at the moment. In fact, so that means that Neal's gone by McKenzie. That's important to note. Neal has found a way to second. McKenzie and Schultz behind. Schultz has started to drop off. Then David Duran's 3 seconds further back behind Schultz in 5th position at the moment.
Yeah, look at this. Josh Carroll Walden, he's kind of looking like Nigel No Friends out there all on his own, but I'm sure he's happy about that.
I was going to say he'd be bloody happy that way, I think, JP. Being out on your own, when you're the leader, it's a very comforting sort of feeling. It's a very fulfilling moment, but more than that, you're out of trouble. The only person that can put it in the wall is yourself. You can't get dragged up in somebody else's incident, so he'll be quite comfortable there at the moment for more reasons than one.
100%.
The other thing is that he can run his own race. He's got no one pushing him.
Exactly.
And he's got no one chasing him down, so he can ease back that little bit keep an eye on and listen to his spotters.
You mentioned he can run his own race, Mark. I mean, is this the sort of racetrack where you benefit from having a draft partner, someone to dance with, or not?
If it's tight racing, yeah, you definitely do, but it's not a high speed track. I mean to say, we're only getting around 187 mile an hour around here, so it's not a high speed. Although, in saying that, you get a pack of 4 or 5 with a good draft happening. You can get up to 180, 190 mile an hour.
Indeed, you can. Hey, it's lap 98. We're almost getting towards half race distance here, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be lap 104. Ruben Phelps, we're on board with him at the moment, looking out the back towards Scott McClintock, who's giving him the big hurry up. Round turns 1 and 2 on the run to 3 and 4. Now, earlier today, I mentioned the NRL earlier, is the Victorians' turn. Geelong over Collingwood by 10 points, 61 to 51. Brisbane thumping GWS 129 to 65. That's a 9-goal victory and a comfortable one at that. Actually, it's 10 goals, isn't it? So St Kilda getting the better of North Melbourne, 88 to 68. And the two live scores currently, the Suns leading the Hawks 67 to 40, and the Eagles leading the Bombers 54 to 31. So we'll keep you abreast of those live scores as they continue throughout the course of the evening. Lap 100 now of 207.
Yeah, and Scott McClintock's right there, just putting the pressure on Ruben Phelps lap after lap.
And he's doing a nice job of it too, JP. No doubt about that. We and again, as Aidan said, as Dave said, as a few others have said, Mark as well, this isn't going to be one now. This is going to be one on lap 207. It's going to be one after that last round of pit stops, after the last caution. Will we get a green, white, checkered? So many variables can pop up between now and then. You've just, again, as we've said about Josh Carroll-Walton, you've just got to run your own race and let strategy and a few other things play out and then make a move for it. So if you've got McClintock at the moment, yes, you're up 17 positions, but you're probably not too worried about where you're placed at the moment because you're moving forward and you know that there's still the option, or the opportunity rather, a little bit later on to keep moving forward and keep climbing up towards maybe a top 5 finish, maybe a podium.
I'll jump in there, Zach. I mean to say, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but that was like what happened with me at Talladega.
Exactly.
25 laps to go. I was a lap down. Got the lucky dog on a caution. Ducked in, took some fresh rubber and some fuel again, and ended up coming through and winning. So you've got to buy that ticket for that last 30 laps. And if you're on,
Sorry guys, JCW's in the pits.
Oh yes, he is, and so is David Durand as well. So both the leader and the early race pace setter on pit road. Here we go.
This will be interesting to see who gets off pit road first. Just wonder if any of them will just take the work inside tyres to get out that fraction quicker.
And on our numbers, it's a 2-stop race from here. But, oh, geez, I tell you what, Carroll-Walton's looking good tonight. That was a slick pit stop. How he goes. Aiden Schultz in 1 lap later. So this will balance out. There'll be a few changes. Caution. And how lucky did Aiden Schultz get? He was already on the line. Wow.
We're just going to get the replay here. That looks like that's Ruben Phelps and Dylan Davies.
No. Massive shunt. Massive contact. From the jeez.
Oh no, that's his night done, I'd say.
Phelps will be gone. That'll be it. That'll be over. That's an absolute shocker. And he got hit by 4 different cars. He got turned in on by the car on the high line. Then he got smashed to the rear, the front, and then the side as well. They didn't miss a spot on that car. Lap 105, and we got caution number 4.
And this is just going to even everything up again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
however, what about the guys? Sorry, Mark. What about the guys that have already stopped? They've only just stopped under green. And then Barry Neal, Darren McKenzie, Justin Witcher, a few others have that opportunity to get a green flag caution pit stop and maybe get a little bit of a leg up. And the other point too, particularly in Darren McKenzie's case, he's got to be careful where he stops because this will be stop 3. He might be running a 5-stop race if he stops here because let's be honest, 45 and 45 is 90. That's
There he's in, he's in.
195. There he goes. He's in the lane. 195, and that leaves 12. So you've either got to save 12 laps of fuel or hope for a lot of safety cars between now and the end of the race if you want to stop now and then get home on 2 stops. In they go. The race off pit road will be critical. McKenzie, Neal, Witcher, May, all in. Williams, Button were already there. Tomlin and McClintock in the lane as well, JP.
I put my money on Neil getting out before Darren here. Yep, there he is. He's jumped him in pit lane.
Oh, there you go. What about that? Neil leapfrogs McKenzie. So Paul Jackson is the current race leader, having last stopped on lap 70, so he's not quite in his window for fuel just yet. And he hasn't opted to stop this time round. He stopped 4 times already tonight. He is on the lead lap. Leads Josh Carroll Walden, Barry Neal Aiden Schultz, then Darren McKenzie, and Justin Witcher is 6th.
It looks like Paul's got a slight damage on that right front fender.
Is there any chance, JP, that we can have a look at another replay of the incident that triggered the caution?
Let's see if I can find that.
Copy, mate. Thank you. Just to see the damage that was done to Ruben Phelps, because Ruben Phelps was, I mean, if memory serves, he was one of the front runners, if not the race winner in Iowa, was he not, 4 weeks ago?
I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. He got turned in on from the high line. And then he got another whack in the side from the same car. And I didn't get the number of the car in question. Hopefully we'll get that as they come down. Dylan Davies, thank you, JP.
No.
Oh, no.
Number 11 there. That was 11 and 06.
So Nathan Legg was the 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here comes the hit. Wooshka. Bang. Oh.
2-1-2.
Chris Tomlin. No wonder he's in the pit lane. Bang. That's the 4th from the 97.
Yeah.
So they're the 4 or 5 cars that have been caught up in that incident. Extraordinary stuff.
Dylan will have damage to the front end. Chris might have some damage, and let's hope it hasn't creased his bar or bonnet into the radiator to block it. So they may be okay, but I'd say Ruben's night's over. We'll might see if we can grab him up here.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Actually, on that subject, I think we're going to have one more lap under caution, so I'm going to quickly grab Aiden Schultz. Schultzy, update me. What's going on, mate? I mean, it's a game of strategy. It's a game of cat and mouse. The pit window leaves you 10th going into the second half of the race.
Yeah, definitely wasn't the pit window, mate. We were good on strategy there. Solid top 3 or 4. Car was feeling good, trying to save some, but what happened was about 4 metres before I got into pit lane, the yellow came out, gave me a drop to close pits. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to work our way back up there.
At least you got plenty of time to do it, and the potential for more cautions, and you've got the car and you've got the speed to do it, mate.
Yeah, definitely feeling comfortable. Long run's really hard, to be honest. It's going off really quick. Guys are very strategic how they drive the car. Probably saw me in that second stint. I was a little bit more mid-track than a lot of people. It's different driving styles, but we'll see how we go. JCW's front, Barry's well. Watch out for him. Of course, Dave Durand from USA, mate. Look out for those guys. But hopefully we can drag the 52 Crank Esports Toyota Camry up to the front.
And of course, also, you got to be mindful of Darren McKenzie there as well. He's going quite nicely too. So, I mean, you're right there with the right people, mate. We wish you well for the next stanza of the race. We'll let you go.
No worries. Hopefully talk to you later.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Let's bring Ruben Phelps back in here to the broadcast booth. Ruben, stand by, mate. We're going to come to you in just a moment. We're going to get this restart up, and away firstly. Josh Carroll Walden and Barry Neal side by side as they come back to green. Restart number 4 of the night. And we've got 99 laps to go. Back underway in Vegas. Nice clean getaway from Josh Carroll Walden. Geez, he shot out of the blocks. But again, this is exactly what we're talking about. You can let these guys that have been leading, Durand and Carroll Walden, you can let them go, but a caution's always going to bring them back to the field, and they're going to have to work just as hard to get back out to that advantage. So we wait and see how this next stanza unfolds. We've got several cars on pit lane. We've now got 13 only on the lead lap. It's not over yet. It's going to be a long night at the office here. Hope you're enjoying it on SimShed Broadcasting. There's Barry Neal, 4th at the moment, under pressure. On the car, just behind him are Stephen Williams, Nathan Button and Reese May as well. So too Scott McClintock. Schultze's already got back up to 9th. Well, let's check in with Ruben Phelps. Ruben, talk us through it, mate. What happened?
Well, a back person who just pitted took me out.
Oh, short, sharp and sweet. Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like he turned in on you from the high line. Is that your read of it? And then obviously, unfortunately, mate, you were left to be a pinata, really.
Yeah, typical.
Must be disappointing considering that you had some good pace. You were in the top 10.
You know, the strategy was starting to work out. I was basically having to save that because I realised that I was maybe 3.8 gallons short. Obviously, staying out was probably a bad call for the start of the race there with all those yellows, but I managed to get it down to about 32 gallons. So I gained about 1.8 gallons on that run there. So if I could just done that in the next pit stop and did that again before the last stop, I might have been right there, or definitely would have done it on the 2 stops. But unfortunately, I don't get to showcase it.
Yeah, very unfortunate for you, mates. We appreciate you stopping by to have a quick chat to us. Bad luck. You just saw a monumental shunt for Michael Shaw on your screen there as well, ladies and gentlemen. But for the second time tonight, a caution not triggered by a single car incident. That's the difference between real world and sim right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. Right, 113 of 207. Josh Carroll Walden leads Darren McKenzie and Justin Witcher in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it looks like Darren's not letting Josh get away from him this time.
Mark, you got a feel for Ruben. I mean, you know what that feels like to be taken out in an incident that's not your own fault.
Yeah, unlucky. You know, it's just one of those things that sometimes it's just bad luck. But you do feel for the guys that get taken out, unfortunately. But we'll just have to wait and see post-race review and see exactly what happened, and then we can go into it a bit deeper.
Absolutely. On to the main straight. Have a look at this. Aiden Schultz trying to find a way around Stephen Williams. Nathan Button, he's got a tow from him at the moment. Barry Neal's on the inside there as well. Schultz looking for a way through. Back on the charge. If you can go with Barry Neal, that's the dance partner you want here. And behind him is Reese May.
Definitely want to work with Barry if you can. You know, if you give him a push, and you get past him, he'll push back to make sure you work together. And he's a great person for that to team up with. When his teammate Paul Jackson can get up there with him, they're almost unstoppable with the pushing they do with each other. So yeah.
It is. There's Barry Neal, 4th place at the moment. And this is a fantastic run from him. I mean, he's going to be, as he was in Iowa, he's going to be right there or thereabouts at the end. If he can just keep it on the black stuff. Stay out of trouble. Ruben Phelps, unfortunately, has proven that that's not easy to do around here. These 1.5 milers, they're nice, they're short, they're fast, and they're fraught with danger.
And look at this, Darren McKenzie all over the back of Josh Carroll Walden.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, isn't it, JP? Carroll Walden went hard off the restart, but McKenzie has been able to claw that margin back, that buffer. They go by lap traffic on the outside, complete lap 117 onto lap 118 now, 90 to go.
Now this is really interesting, Zach, because Josh pitted on lap 102, Darren on 105. I'm wondering if Darren's just sitting behind Josh and just taking advantage of the tow.
Well, let's ask the expert. And I'm not talking about you or I. I'm talking about Mark. Mark Johannesson's with us in the booth after an early race retirement. Mate, fuel saving strategy. Yin or yang? Do you want to be the leader? Do you want to be the chaser?
This still this early in the race. I don't think it really matters. But I'd probably want to be the chaser, just to get in that stream, and save that little bit of fuel and save your tyres a little bit.
Oh, geez, look at this. Harry, Neil, Stephen, Williams, Aiden, Schultz. Take a bow, gentlemen. They've navigated their way through that nicely. Nathan Button and Reese May hanging on for dear life. Got McClintock's in there as well. There were 3 wide coming down the main straight. Barry Neal asserts his authority and moves into 4th. Schultz beside him. Under him is Stephen Williams. Nathan Button's there as well. Then Reese May, Scott McClintock, Michael Schroeder not too far away either. This is a cracking scrap, and this is the ongoing battle for 4th. They've got fresh rubber, they're all revved up, they're pumped and ready to go into the second half of the race. They're doing a nice job.
I've just looked at some info on JCW, mate. He's made 10 starts with us this season so far. He's had 1 win, and out of the other 9 races, he's had 9 top 5 spots finishes in his 10 starts.
How's that for consistency, hey? I mean, what's this, round 16 or 17?
Round 16.
Yeah, how's that for consistency? I mean, obviously, yeah, disappointing that you missed 5 races along the way here, but that's the nature of it being a weekend series. Real life's going to get in the way occasionally. But the main, in an oval series where each and every track has its own challenges and it's all a different dynamic and there's no written real form guide, that have 10 top 5 finishes, that is just extraordinary. And he's on track for another W tonight, the way things are going at the moment.
And would you believe he has not had a pole this season so far in his 10 starts?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's very true. Now, something we've missed here along the way, boys. David Durand in the 24 is out of business. David Durand in the 24 is out of business. He's parked down there in 19th position at the moment, having completed 110 laps, but he's out of business. And I don't know what's happened. I don't know how. All I know is that he's not there anymore. He was running in the top 10. He's going about his business okay. Either he's fallen asleep at the wheel or he's had an internet failure or something's going on. But actually, to be honest, given that it's 4 a.m. in the morning, I'd fall asleep at the wheel too. But David Durand is out of business. That's only just come to our attention.
That's unfortunate for him because I know he was keen to do well, and he was doing well.
And that really opens up the form guide. It really swings things in the way of Josh Carroll-Walden's favour here as he continues to lead down the back straight one more time. Look at this ongoing scrap. Gee, Schultze's got his work cut out for him, hasn't he? He's sitting there in 6th under all sorts of pressure from Button and May. Trying to catch or go with Stephen Williams. But again, everyone's running their own race. Schultze knows that he doesn't have to go with Williams now. He has to go with him after the 4th and final pit stop. Down the inside, Button gets Schultz. The job is done. This would mean a lot to Aiden, wouldn't it, JP, to jump in the server and win one?
Yeah, 100%. He loves his stock car racing. He loves his cup car racing. He'd be absolutely over the moon. Although I think he'd be really chuffed if he managed to get himself on the podium.
Well, that's exactly right. And the other thing too, if he gets the W, you might have trouble getting him back for commentary next week.
Yeah, I'll have to entice him.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just give him a 4-race ban.
Thank you. That'll do.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
That'll work because then I can come in on July 3. That's fine. Yeah, easy. Oh dear. So lap 127 of 207. We wouldn't do that. We would, but we wouldn't, ladies and gentlemen. We'd do it for a laugh. We'd do it for an April Fool's joke. But no, it's all good and well. He's doing a good job. Lap 128 of 207. 80 laps to go. Josh Carroll Walden leads Darren McKenzie. Justin Witcher is there as well. We're about an hour and a half into the proceedings here. And still the best is yet to come.
Yeah, and
Darren McKenzie, Mr. Consistent. This is, sorry, JP. Darren McKenzie, Mr. Consistent. I mean, no wonder he's got the championship lead.
Yeah, he's doing
He's
doing
been
an awesome
real
job there.
consistent. Just looking at his stats, believe it or not, he's not won a race this season. 14 starts, 5 top 5 finishes, and 9 top 10 finishes.
Should call him Rick Kelly.
Yes.
And 2006 fans of Craig Lowndes will get the reference of that.
Yeah, let's not go there.
No, I agree. Sorry I brought it up, actually. lap 130 of 207. Of course, remember, folks, no supercars at Winton this weekend because Regional Victoria got tarred with the same brush as Metropolitan Victoria, so you're stuck with sim racing on a Saturday night. You're stuck with us, and that's a good option. That's a good alternative. It's a good backup plan. Of course, I know a lot of people would have sat up this morning watching all the action from Carb Day at Indianapolis as well. Scott Dixon, the fastest there. We've got the race on Monday morning. McLaughlin from 17th, I think it is, on the grid, and Will Power from the back row, the lowest point of which he's ever started in Indy 500. But it can be won from there. Don't worry about that. 1 a.m. Monday morning, you'll see it on Fox Sports around Australia.
He would not be happy starting at the back there.
No, not at all. And I can understand that. I mean, Penske normally dominant at Indianapolis, this year struggling. McLaughlin, the fastest qualifier for Penske. I mean, he reckons he's got the pace to win the thing. It'd be a truly historic moment in New Zealand and Australian motorsport if he is able to pull it off. I mean, the Australians will claim him as their own if he does win, but by rights it should be New Zealand's public holiday.
Well, I've got a question for everyone, our fans out there.
Yes, mate.
We've already been working on next season. I know it's early in this season. We're not even halfway, but we're always working on things to improve the racing. My question to everyone out there is, would they like to see us go to stage racing next year?
Ooh, good question. And that's interesting because I was talking to someone like Brenton Hobson last night in the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club server after our Autocare race. And he said, mate, I've really dropped off. I've lost interest in stock cars now that they do stage racing. It's, you know, I mean, everyone has their preference. I mean, supercars tried it and it failed miserably here a couple of years ago. But stage racing is the way of the current stock car formats. So, I mean, well, NASCAR format. So if you want to continue to, you know, follow in the footsteps of the real world, well, stage racing would be the next obvious step. But is that fabricating the product too much?
Well, that's what we want to know. We want to know what the fans want. And I, myself and the other admin are always looking at ways to improve our racing. And hence that's why we went to a tyre limit and no fast repairs, because to bring it back to close to some of the real racing that happens.
Hey, socials already. JP, can you run us through what's going on there because it hasn't come up on mine yet?
Yeah, we've got some action on socials already. Purple Echidna, yep. It'd be interesting to see some stage racing next season.
And it'd spice up. I guess it'd spice up the Daytona and Talladega stuff, because we know that everyone fights for those bonus points on the last laps there and all that sort of stuff. So you'd probably have 3 big ones instead of 1. And I guess it brings in that competition caution factor, which we don't have in the series at the moment as well. I'm not opposed to the concept, but I'm just a commentator, so I'll go with whatever's thrown at me.
Yeah, it'd be interesting just to see what everyone thinks. We've already locked in Talladega again as our Anzac Cup for next season, so that's locked in. We're just working on it with a couple of other leagues to sort out our start date. But we've got some races locked in for next year already in the calendar. So yeah, we're underway, and we just want to know how to improve it for the race fans out there.
Well, I must say, from the outside looking in, I'm a huge fan of road course racing when it comes to the stock cars. That would be my first suggestion. There's 6 road courses this year in the NASCAR series, which is the record. Actually, there ended up being 7, didn't there? Because the California Auto Club Speedway round got dropped in favour of the Daytona road course because of COVID. So, each to their own. I know people who like stock road racing. I know people who loathe it. I know people who like stage racing. I know people who loathe it. As the great Richie Benno once said, back on the 1st of February, 1981, on the subject of the fact that a couple of Kiwi friends are in the server tonight, because of the famous underarm incident, he said, now everyone around Australia will have their own idea on that, and we always get letters and phone calls back in the day when that was a thing, obviously. Now everyone just messages on Facebook and Twitter. But he said, I don't expect anyone to agree with me. I don't expect it to get more than 50% agreement on anything. So anyone that gets unanimous agreement on, be it stage racing, road courses, or whatever, is doing a mighty fine job.
True. And the next gen car, I believe, lends itself to a bit more of the road circuit stuff.
Well, that's true too. So that's another consideration to go into it there. I'm particularly looking forward to, unfortunately, Fox Sports in Australia. So I already got up Queensland earlier, JP. Let's talk about Fox Sports. They have a real hit-miss relationship with NASCAR as far as live coverage is concerned. It's kind of like indecisive relationships in the sense that 1 week you're boyfriend and girlfriend, next week you're not. 1 week you're on, 1 week you're not. It depends on the day of the week. It depends on the time of the month, all that sort of rubbish. And Fox Sports have been very selective with their stock car races this year. I would have thought there'd be an interest in showing the road course races because, of the history we have of supporting road course racing, given Marcus Sambrose's success back in the day and a few other factors. But they didn't show COTA, which is the first time NASCAR have gone racing at the Circuit of the Americas. That would have been fascinating to watch. Here's a move. Barry Neal and Darren McKenzie side by side on the simsnap.com iRacing photography replay. And Neal's going through on the inside. Neal to second, McKenzie to third. Back to what I was saying. So from mine, I'm more likely to... I'll tune in for Daytona and Talladega. I'll tune in for the Coke 600 and the Brickyard 400, but that's now not a thing because they're running on the road course. Then I'm more likely to tune in for the road course races than I am anything else, because road course racing is something that we so very much celebrate here in Australia through our circuit racing. Oval racing is more of an American concept than an Australian concept. So, if you want to draw the Aussie audience in, you think about road courses. But each to their own again. I'm not going to start World War III like I did with the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club earlier in the week, simply by suggesting Victorians didn't have an excuse not to be in the server because they're in lockdown. And didn't that go down like a ton of bricks? Lap 144 of 207, 64 laps to go. Josh Carroll Walden has got a 1.5 second lead over Barry Neal. Darren McKenzie is third. Looking at some of the big movers and shakers tonight, JP, you've got Nathan Button up eight positions, Stephen Williams up 9, but Scott McClintock and Paul Jackson both up 19, and Tristan Kosh up 17 positions. Is it Cock or Kosh? I'm pretty sure it's Kosh. That's the Australian way you say it.
Yeah, it's Kosh.
Yeah. It's, it depends on who you are and what sort of mood they're in, and if they're trying to be a comedian, how that word gets pronounced.
Yeah, they've done an awesome job making their way through the field.
I know Scott told me over our team channel that he was lucky to miss that first one, so he's done really well.
There he has. It's 146 of 207. I'm just having a look. Josh Carroll Walton, JCW, has got to be perilously close coming to pit road. By my numbers, this is now lap 45 of his window, of his fuel run. And we've been green for a good vast majority of that. So he will be in his window in the next 3 or 4 laps, I'd say. Maybe even 2.
I'd say so. Yeah.
But the way things are running, Mark, it's going to be the second last stop.
Yeah, Darren's just called over the race radio that he's pitting.
And there's another interesting point too, because some iRacing servers won't allow in-race chat, but here, in-race chat is encouraged because of the nature of oval racing. You need to know. You need to make your fellow competitors aware that you are pitting so that they're aware to avoid you if you're on the low line.
Yeah, that's it. Well, some places don't worry. Some leagues don't worry about it, but it's just a gentleman thing that we like that we've introduced, and so we don't have anyone slamming up the rear end of anyone else as they're going into pit lane, and yeah, it just gives everyone a bit of room.
Indeed it does. Now, go JP.
We got a bit of movement there on social media. So from Hayden Millington about stage racing, he's saying it would depend on the track for the stage racing. Super speedways might end up causing a lot of accidents, but tracks like Vegas would probably work. Also, Purple Akinda, she started watching Weekend Warriors to support her partner and brother in Team Iridium. Now she watches because really loves the race and the content we all put together. So thanks very much for that.
Yeah, we love good feedback. We like negative feedback as well because it just encourages us and baits us and spites us to try and do better. But we love positive feedback on a Saturday night. It's a nice way to end the week, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, and any feedback back to us is good, because then we can then talk amongst ourselves and say, hey, we need to do this, or we need to get Jimmy Brown in and start him running, and it just opens up another door for us as admin to give people what they want.
So this is interesting, guys. JCW is he's the man in charge at the minute, but Barry Neal is slowly catching up to him lap after lap. So last lap was a 32.4 from JCW, 32.2 from Barry Neal, and this lap now 32.3.
Yeah, the lap times are dropping off a little bit, which would suggest some tyre wear, because and maybe also some fuel saving as well. You look at the fastest lap of the race from Josh Carroll Walden. I'm not saying he was the fastest lap of the race, but his fastest lap, 30.56. He's in the lane.
Yes, he's in the
Carroll
lane.
Walden's in the lane right now. There we go. Bang, right on cue. Look at this. At the end of a 47-lap run for Josh Carroll Walden. He's in the lane. Scott McClintock goes with him.
Now, my question is does Barry Neal cover him off on the next lap?
Well, yeah, exactly right. Now, this is the other thing too. We know that if we get 3 or 4 cautions, these guys will get home from here. If we don't, it's the smallest splash and dash to get home. It'll be a 10-lap fuel run that they will need to get home with if we go green all the way. So a couple of different things to play out here. How good's that?
The other thing, Zach, is if we get another caution, who's game enough to throw on their last set of tyres?
Exactly. Well, that's the point I was making, wasn't it? So Josh Carroll Walden, we're talking about him. I mean, his best lap was a 30.56, but the previous lap before he pitted was about a 32.4 or something like that. I didn't quite remember the number when it flashed over again. So when he came into the pit lane. So there's been a fair drop off as the stints have dragged on as the night has gone on.
True. It'll be interesting to see what times he's doing now compared to Barry. to see if he catches up and can get him before Barry pits.
52 laps to go.
Barry's in.
After the one we're on now. Barry Neal in the lane. And Josh Carroll Walden continues on. Now, the thing for Carroll Walden is he's got to unlap himself. He unlaps himself there at the line. He gets back on the lead lap. Now he's got to get around again before Barry Neal gets out onto the racetrack. And Carroll Walden's pit stop is 14.93 seconds. That's the time to beat for Barry Neal. Here we go. There will be some tyres going on here.
Yeah, right side's on.
And the jack up. Once that jack drops, he's gone, and we wait and see. Bang. On his way. A little bit of smoke kicked up as well.
Here comes Carroll Walden.
Comes round. Carroll Walden's going to take
him.
the lead away. He's going to get him, and get him well. Get him comfortably. Wow. Josh Carroll Walden. Whoa. That's impressive. Barry Neal, 15.28. So we lost 0.3 on the lane. That doesn't explain how he's lost that much time, because that's a staggering advantage now that Carroll enjoys. Now the final stanza of the race is upon us. We have 51 to go. Mackenzie, Carroll Walden, and Williams. 1, 2, and 3. Reese May is 4th. Now he's not, because he's in pit lane. So is Paul Jackson. So Barry Neal goes to 4th. Michael Schroeder, Justin Witcher. However, 147 is where Darren McKenzie and Stephen Williams pitted. 152 for Carroll Walden, 155 for Neal, 137 for Schroeder. So Schroeder's going to be the next one to stop out of that top 7 or so. Everyone else will be able to stretch it into well into the 190s their next stint.
So
great to have you with us.
this is going to be really interesting. JCW there's got a, well, Darren McKenzie's got about a 2.3 second lead over Carroll Walden, which I'm going to say he's going to eat into fairly easily.
With fresh rubber, obviously, yeah. Fresher rubber, rather. So Mackenzie, Walden, 2 seconds, and Walden trying to mow him down. Let's watch that with interest. And we've got 9 cars on the lead lap, including our own Aidan Schultz. He's sitting there on 8th. Fastest lap of the night for Barry Neal right now, 30.37. Neal's on a charge.
Yeah, he's really
That's a
turned
big
that wick
number.
up.
And what's also interesting here, boys, if they've got a set of tyres in the shed, they don't necessarily need to leave this into the late 190s. They might come in earlier. They might come in and top up, get a fresh set for that last 20 laps rather than just the last 10. So there could be a bit of strategy, a bit of tactical play in these last few laps here. The other gamble is if we get a caution, say lap 170, all bets are off. Everyone will come in, everyone will put fresh rubber on and go.
Yeah, 100%. And there we go. Barry Neal, another purple sector. So he's on fire now.
That was a huge number from Barry Neal. 30.41, the purple box and all. Across the line again. Let's wait and see. And he's closed to within half a second of Stephen Williams. 30.43 that time around. At least he's consistent. So Darren McKenzie, we're on lap 161. Great to have you covered wherever you're tuning in all around Australia, all around the world. It is the gentleman's, it is the gentleman's, because it is the gentleman of Weekend Warriors, I should say. And there's the caution! There's the caution! And now we have a ball game, because everybody's going to be in the window to fuel up and get home. It's just a matter of whether you want to gamble on tyres. You want to take fresh rubber now and be totally worn on fresh rubber going into potential green-white checker, if we get there.
I myself would take the chance and stay on the rubber I've got, go in and do a splash and come back out. But yeah, it's a big question. You know, these guys here may take a splash and stay on the same tyres. Yeah. Yep,
This is going to work perfectly. Here we go. Even Barry Neal as well. The Mackenzie, Walden, Neal, Williams, Witcher. Schroeder stays out. Schultz comes in. McClintock as well. They are all on the lane. Do we know what the cause of the caution was, JP?
No, look, I haven't been able to see what that caution was yet.
Copy that. Could be for debris.
This will be interesting, the race on pit lane.
Indeed, it will. Here we go.
Is that Barry out first?
Yep, I believe it was.
So Barry, I'd say, would have just flashed and dashed to top his tank up. And it looked like Darren took tyres then too.
So Schroeder leads the race, but we know he hasn't stopped on this caution. Neil, Williams, McClintock, Darrell Walden, they've all stopped lap 162. They're in the window to get home. I'll drag Aiden Schultz in for to check in here. Schultzy, that just shook things up perfectly. The fact that we're 45 laps from home on a green flag run, it's a 45 lap fuel limit for these cars, or a 45 lap run that you can get out of a full tank, I should say. We've got a ball game here.
Yeah, we definitely do. That helped me out a lot. I got a really quick Frank Esports to carry, but I don't know if you're on board with me at all through that last stint, but I was doing a lot of clutching, trying to save fuel, and when I came out then, I was 1.5 laps to be able to get to the end, and all the guys in front couldn't, so it was working out good strategy-wise, but now she's going to be a ding-dong battle for the last 5 laps.
Expecting a few elbows out and potentially a couple of more cautions here.
Oh, hopefully I'm not involved. I nearly got caught up in one with Dave Duran, got a bit loose earlier. Hopefully we can keep the number 2 Cranky car straight and bring it home to the end and hopefully on the podium.
Any idea what happened to Dave Duran? Because he just dropped out. We didn't actually see what happened to him.
He got really loose out of 2 and lost control of the car and got up in all in the car, and I went low and I didn't hit him or made a bit of contact. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Dave. He was driving amazing tonight, so yeah, very unfortunate.
He was quietly confident of his chances of winning as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't come to fruition. Mate, this is going to be an epic ding-dong in the final few stages. Good luck. Take a breath. Hold on.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for dropping down again, and hope we're bringing you a bit of there for broadcasting tonight on Weekend Warriors, mate. So, thank you.
Mate, I'm sure the entertainment is just about to ramp up a notch. Go well.
No worries, mate. Hope so.
Aiden Schultz, we'll check in with him a little bit later. Mark, you can feel the tension starting to mount here.
Yeah. I just ducked up to while you brought Aiden up, ducked up to our race, our team channel, just to have a quick chat with Scott. Scott's taken fuel only, and he's still got a set of tyres on the rack there. So if we get another caution, he said that he'll dive in and take that last set of tyres. And he said he feels the car's like a rocket at the moment.
And you heard what Schultz said, JP. He feels that there definitely will be another caution here.
Yeah, well, the old adage, cautions breed cautions, it couldn't be further from the truth. We're at the dying stages of this race now. Yeah, that red mist is really going to start to descend.
The thing is, Zach, too, is that we've got the rule in our rule book that up until the last 20 laps, you're not intentionally supposed to block. But last 20 laps, it's gloves are off and anything goes. Back to old school NASCAR.
I like it. I like it a lot. Lap 166 is what we'll start when we get back to the line. We'll have 42 laps to go. The guys that came in just then are good to run to the end. Gamble on tyres. That's the only one that we've got to talk about here. Let's wait and see. Schroeder and Neil, the front row. Let's go. Schroeder was happy to hit the throttle, hit the gas, and get going straight away. Down towards turn 1. Look at Williams down on the inside, forcing the issue with Barry Neal immediately. Williams is going to second. He's the first of those that have fueled to the end. 3 wide further back in the pack. Now the gloves are off. Down the back straight. Caution. Again. That didn't take long.
Oh no, this is Scott McClintock. Let's have a look.
McClintock is gone, and that is a huge moment. We'll find out from Mark. Oh, no. Oh, no. Mark and Schultze. Aiden and Schultze. Aiden and Scott, rather. Mark's teammate is what I was trying to spit out. Fair dinkum. Brilliant for the front runners like Neil and Carol Walden, who might have considered those guys a threat. A huge blow for Scott McClintock. Aiden Schultz has stayed out there. I wonder how damaged that car is. I'm not sure. Oh,
Looks
yeah,
like
she's
a crumpled
crunched
beer
up.
can.
She's crunched up, all right. Oh, that's a devastating blow for Schultz. You'd only just mentioned that he was hoping to stay out of trouble. He was hoping to keep his nose clean. And unfortunately for you, Mark Johansson, it's your teammate that's worn the brunt of that, I should say.
Yeah. I won't repeat what he said. He's not happy.
And I've got a feeling that we'll have Schultze in the booth for the rest of the night after this, depending upon how much damage he's got there, how much time he's going to have to spend on the lane. That's another contender. That's 2 contenders gone. And we knew that safety cars were going to breed safety cars. What was that? That's now number 6 we're up to. We had 4. We then got 5. We're now on 6. These guys are good to fuel to the end. And as you said, McClintock was the only one that wasn't gambling on tyres there. Was gambling on tyres there. That would have worked perfectly had he not been the car caught up in that incident. So is that going to be his night done? Is he out of business, or is he going to try and get back out there and salvage some points? Mark, do we know?
I think he's not done, mate. It's the car's pretty damaged. So yeah, unfortunate for us. We park him again.
Very unfortunate. And it works into the favour of Stephen Williams. It works into the favour of Michael Schroeder, who didn't come in to stop that last time around the 263. He is the race leader. Stephen Williams, Barry Neal, Josh Carroll Walden, and Darren McKenzie, the top 5. Justin Witcher is 6th. Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine. Could you imagine Kenny Callender trying to wrap his tongue around that one? Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine. Every horse with a bloody S in its name. It is a Weekend Warriors Cup car racing for you. These gentlemen putting on a great show on a Saturday night on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. We hope you're enjoying it wherever you're tuning in. I was getting to that a short while ago, and then all hell broke loose. The usual in-race shout-out to mention what we are and what we're doing and where we're at, etc. and so forth. Las Vegas, the venue tonight. Many of us would love to go to Vegas, just don't have the bank account to do it. Nor the freedom at the moment either, thanks to the bloody virus. Good old COVID's making, passports collect more dust than what we'd like them to, and making them a wasted investment at the moment.
Now, mine hasn't seen the sunlight for quite a number of years now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, sorry, mate, you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were supposed to be over there right now. Me and my partner, she's never been there. I've been there a few times with the military and everything. And we were actually going to take in some NASCAR racing while we were there, but that all got squashed.
Yeah, difficult pill to swallow, no doubt. But you'll get there eventually, mate. I'm hopeful of that. Anyway, but then again, that being said, if Victoria's going to get locked down because vaccinated people get the same, and vaccinated people, I might add, are getting the same treatment as the people that aren't vaccinated. Oh no, you've still got to be locked down if you've already been jabbed. I mean, fair dinkum. No wonder there's some discrepancy and some reluctancy to take the trip to the doctors and get the jab in the first place. But anyway, we'll leave the politics out of it. Michael Schroeder's going to lead us back to green. The safety car lights go out. We'll get back underway at the start of lap 171, and that'll give us 37 laps to go. We're heading for home here. Michael Schroeder, Stephen Williams, Barry Neal, Josh Walden, Carol Walden, rather, and then Darren McKenzie, the top 5. Justin Witcher is 6th, Kobe Jordan 7th, Paul Jackson, Aiden Schultz has got back out there. He got back out there, and he's on the lead lap. That is a huge break. A huge break for Aiden Schultz, and Nathan Button is down in 10th position. We definitely have a car race on our hands here, JP. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Indeed. Let's cross our fingers hold our breath, wait in anticipation of what's to come. This is going to be must-watch racing.
So, Zach, who's your money on?
Oh, geez, don't put that on me. I don't want to be held responsible for the commentator's curse. Mate, I really like the look of Josh Carroll-Walton. He's looked solid all night. But then again, Darren McKenzie, you can't rule him out either. But if I was to hedge my bets, I'd say Walton at the moment. Here we go. Getting set for a restart. I'll get back to you guys and get your thoughts in just a moment on that, since I've just been thrown under the bus. Let's go! Restart 6. Weekend Warriors Cup Car Racing, Las Vegas Memorial Day Cup. Barry Neal on the inside, Stephen Williams the outside. Look down low, there's Carol Walton as well.
It was a big move by Josh, JCW to the low side.
And that was also risky for McKenzie as well.
That low sign just looks like it's really working now.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like it's just on a different grip level, doesn't it? Across the start-finish line, Barry Neal wants to lead this thing. He wants to go by Michael Schroeder and will. Barry Neal to the lead. Schroeder let him at the strike, but Neal gets him back.
Oh,
no! Jeez! That was a big wobble from Neal, and Schroeder's going to get back up on the high line. 3 wide, if you don't mind. McKenzie and Carol Walton there as well. McKenzie through the outside line, getting the toe from Schroeder. And then look behind them. Wincher and Williams are in this with a chance as well.
And Paul Jackson sitting back there waiting, just biding his time for someone to make a mistake, to pounce.
They can't run this intently for the next 35 laps. It'd be insane. It's not Daytona, it's not Talladega. They've got to be strategic about this. They've got to think critically, think smartly. Round onto the main straight. Neal's the leader. Carol Walton's there second. He's looked pacey. He's looked racy all night. Now he's looking for a lead. Change
Here he
with Barry
goes.
Neal down the inside. Carol Walton to the lead. Now McKenzie wants to go with him. He's seen who's the fastest round here. He wants to get a toe.
Oh, Barry's touched the wall.
Oh, wow. And that could just about spoil it for him. We'll wait and see. Hopefully no damage on that car. Oh, caution. Again, the 7th of the night.
Looks like it's Nigel Payton this time. Let's have a look.
And in all of that, only 9 cars remain on the lead lap. It has been a race of attrition. Let's have a look at this. I want to come back to that point in just a moment, but I'll get Aidan Schultz in here for a chat as well very shortly. Oh, big hit. Massive hit on Patton from, was that the 167? Yes, it was. Nathan Button. Bang. Patton's gone. McClintock's still in the lane 7 minutes 57 seconds later.
He will come back out. He's just getting some repairs done. He's going to salvage some points.
All right. So, I'll tell you what, the safety car is better placed than some of the drivers tonight. Wow, there's some tactical play. There's some dummy throwing. Neal, Schroeder, Williams, Schultz in the lane. Neal isn't a surprise, nor is Schultz, given that he has damage that he's still trying to repair. He's trying to do this tactically, I think, Aidan Schultz.
I say Barry's come in to try. He's probably got slight damage and come in and see how long it takes him to get that repaired. And he's actually taken tyres by the look of it.
Yeah, so he had a spare set. Right. Harry Neal's all of a sudden back in the game.
Yeah, he's using that time there to do some repairs, and he'll come back out.
Aidan Schultz still using that time for repairs as well. Let's bring him in. Schultzy, I feel as though we put the mocker on you. You were talking about trying to keep your nose clean, rather. Keep a clean set of heels, and it didn't end up playing out that way. Are you using these cautions just to panel beat any sort of damage you've still got?
Yeah, definitely. There was car and older tyres crack and got into us, which was very unfortunate. But yeah, we're top 10 there. Just, I like that caution so I can get some repairs done. But yeah, we've still got a top 10 car, but pointing there after nearly an hour and a half of racing to have that happen. But yeah, we'll go out and we can salvage.
Righto, mate. Thank you for that. We'll check in with you soon.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Spoke to Barry. He had about 5 seconds of repairs to do, so he's good to go again.
Well, isn't that a blessing for him to get the caution? No harm, no foul. That's really lucky. A stroke of luck, if you don't mind, for Barry Neal. Josh Carroll Walden back at the front. I tell you what, don't rule out Darren McKenzie. Really don't rule him out. He might just be sitting there waiting to play his master stroke. We wait and see. We've got the pace car around on another lap here, so the earliest we'll get a restart is 179. So this lap by will give us 30 to go. The start of lap 178, 30 laps to go.
The other person don't count out, Zach. He's the 231 of Paul Jackson sitting there in fourth. He's he can pedal, so although he is carrying a little bit of damage there on the right front, but I don't think that'll hinder him too much. So I wouldn't count out him either for the win.
So Josh Carroll Walden, the leader, having gained one position. Our pole sitter out of business. And Paul Jackson up 25 positions. A hugely impressive performance, even if he doesn't get the W tonight. Christian Koch might be a lap down, but he's up 17 positions. And 10 positions gained for Christopher Tomlin as well. And McClintock up 11 despite the fact that he's still on pit road. So it's been a good night of gains for them, but also a lot of losses too. And also, I mean, you look down the order. We've got McClintock on the lane. We've only got we've lost Reese May. We've lost the 97. There are two running behind them. And they will eventually unlap themselves, etc. and so forth. Well, Ruben Phelps won't. Ruben Phelps has got back out there, and Will Jesberg, but they won't get back. Will Jesberg will, but Ruben Phelps won't get back on the lead lap.
I say we're going green here, Zach, where the lights are out on the pace car.
Copy that. I'm just looking at Ruben Phelps. He's 113. The next position he can get is at 154. He won't get there in the time that's left. That's unfortunate for him. So the best he can do is 20th. So what's that? 16, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you've got about 18 cars still out there in this race at this point in time. Getting set for a restart. We don't think it'll be our last one. We've had 7 cautions tonight. When does the 8th arrive, or do we get a clean run of the checkered flag? I tell you what, watch Barry Neal now that he's on a fresh set of tyres. This race is about to get an extra little bit spicy. Back to green we go. Great restart. Conversion from Josh Carroll Walden was brilliant. And what about Witcher down the inside? Justin Witcher in the 21. On the inside of McKenzie to second. Schroeder and Williams side by side arguing over the same piece of real estate as well. Paul Jackson and Barry Neal are the same. And we've got 2, 3, 4 fights in the top 10 at the moment. This is really good stuff.
You watch Paul and Barry hook up here and have become a very strong force in this closing stage.
Teammates?
Yeah, teammates, mate.
Yep, don't rule them out at all. Keep an eye on them.
Big
tailing on from McKenzie. Massive sideways moment for him. Did well to gather it up and keep it on the black stuff. The net code as well. Oh, don't tell me the internet's about to play its part in this race. Oh, no! Massive moment there, but a big save for Barry Neal.
I think that may be his race done.
Wow. That could be Neal cooked. Stephen Williams, hey, he's sitting pretty. He's third. And Michael Schroeder, despite playing a completely different strategy to those around him, he's sitting second at the moment. The only man ahead of him is Carroll Walden, and they have shot through. Carol Walden leads by a second. Schroeder's got 1.2 on Williams. And it's a logjam of cars all the way back to Devon Stove in 10th. Schultz is up to 8th. Oh, boy. Attention, the drama, the buzz, the atmosphere. How good is it? Las Vegas delivering the goods tonight. The Carol Walden from Schroeder. There's the gaps, the margins at the line. Geez, they whiz by that static camera shot very quickly, don't they? Now, can Neil get back with Jackson? Can they work together to work their way through the field? Do we have another caution coming in the next 25 laps? So many unanswered questions. Can Josh Carol Walden hold on from here and continue his incredible run so far this season? It'll be his second win, as Mark was detailing earlier, and his 11th top 5 finish from 11 starts out of the 16 rounds so far. So, gentlemen, let's go back and visit two things. Mark, who's your money on?
I'm gonna go for a dark horse, and I'm also gonna put my money on Steve Williams.
Yeah, that's a fair bet. JP, if you had to hedge your bets $5 each way?
Look, I'd like to say Barry Neal. He was looking really strong, still is, but he's a bit far down now. I'm thinking Michael Schroeder is looking pretty good.
Okay, so we're all on 3 different horses here. I've gone with the bloke that's the current favourite, and you two are sitting on the 2 immediately behind. So the top 3 are where our money lies. Don't be surprised if that therefore doesn't end up being the top 3 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The commentator's curse could well and truly strike Las Vegas Motor Speedway at this point in time. The other point as well, Mark, I'll bring you back in on this because you talk about the advice and the comments and the feedback that you get year in, year out. How has the no fast repairs rule gone down?
A lot of the guys love it. They think it's the best thing we did because it's makes everyone think about their driving. So yeah, and as they said, in a real world, you don't get a fast repair. So yeah, let's keep it as real as we can.
No, I like the sound of that. Nothing wrong with a little bit of realism in a virtual world. We've spoken at length across our broadcast platforms. JP was with me last year in the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, the Weekend Warriors, the NTS series. We've spoken at length about the little idiosyncrasies that separate virtual and real world racing, and there'll always be some differences.
Always.
The more real, or realistic rather, that you can make the virtual product, the more bums on seats it's going to get in terms of viewers.
True, and I guess we're lucky in a sense that we do race on Saturday night, so we're able to make our races that fraction longer to reflect the real world NASCAR, where some of the guys that run through the midweek, you wouldn't want to be doing 300-mile midweek because it'd be 1-2 o'clock in the morning when you finish.
Yeah, exactly right. Because you can't start the service so early because it's the middle of the working week. Full time in the NRL too, ladies and gentlemen. Sydney Roosters defeating the Canberra Raiders convincingly and comfortably. Oh, have a look at this. Schroeder up on the high line to the lead.
He's made that line work well.
He's making a race of this. So 44-16 Roosters over Raiders in Saturday night NRL action. I'll give you full-time scores from the AFL as soon as it's done as well. In the meantime, let's return our attention here. Barry Neal trying to get back to 4th. On the inside of McKenzie. Oh, no. Jeez.
Jackson ran around the outside wall then. I don't know. I missed the edge of it. I don't know whether he was pushed up into the wall or he just got loose.
But no yellow, still under green. And we're on lap 191, 17 to go. Is there a sting in the tail here? Or are we good to race to the end? That is Stove and Jackson. Button in behind them. Schultz, he's dropped off, but he's still 10th. That's still an impressive showing all the same. There are a lot of drivers tonight that have not made it that far. And to have 10 on the lead lap at this point of the race, actually 11. No, it's still 10. That is actually not a bad achievement. Not bad at all. Aiden Schultz sitting there 10th. There he is. Keep going. Is there a late race caution brewing? Is there another sting in the tail? Is there more drama? We wait and see. Stephen Williams, third at the moment. $15 to go. Schroeder, Walden, Williams. About a second and a half separates them. I tell you what, to have the three of them there, this is going to be an awesome finish if we get a caution just to spice things up. It's already shaping up to be an awesome finish back here because there's Nathan Button all over the back of Paul Jackson. And Aiden Schultz is the next one in picture at the back, a shot there, but just ahead of them, Devon Stove and Justin Witcher. They're going at it as well.
Now, one thing to bear in mind, JCW knows how to look after his tyres too. So he may not be pushing just yet and might start to turn the wick up as the laps start to wind down.
14 laps, about 7 minutes of racing to go, JP. This is on for young and old. And have a look at this. Williams around the outside of Walden. Walden's gone back to third. JCW is on the bottom step of the podium, and Zach's looking like a dill. Dear, oh dear. Come on, Walden. Get back up there, son. Get on the inside. This is a side-by-side slug out. It's a shootout between these two. The battle for the minor placings, and they're on the ragged edge. They're on the absolute limit. This is really good. Michael Schroeder's the leader. He's got them. 1.1 seconds.
And look where Barry Neal is.
Last stop, 175. Have a look at Barry Neal flying back as well.
JP, you were right about that. Last week, JCW was sitting third until I think the last 10 laps, and he came through the win.
Great pressure here. This is a tense sort of situation with 6 minutes of racing to go or thereabouts between Schroeder, Williams, Carroll Walden and Neal. 1 second the advantage first to second, and then second, third and fourth, throw a tea towel over them. That's all you need to cover them. They're so close. We said oval racing wasn't exciting, by the way. This has been super stuff. And this has been terrific. 7 cautions later, we are 10 laps from home next time by the line.
I think Barry's going to get JCW here.
Barry's playing the long game here. He's waiting for that opportunity, and he's going to take it.
There he is. It's just a matter of when, not if. There is Williams. Schroeder. There is Williams. There is Walden. There is Neal. 10 laps to go.
Here we go.
Neal down the inside. Neal to third. Can he get it done? Can he get Carroll Walden and put him behind him? Can he keep him at bay? Oh, I tell you what, there was almost a touch. There was almost a touch. And that would have given us a late race caution. Have a look at this. Schroeder, Williams, Carroll Walden and Neal. 1, 2, 3 and 4. They're in an almighty slog for third at the moment. The problem is that Williams is starting to gap them, though. Neal comes down the inside. Neal going to third. Can he get the job done on Josh Carroll Walden, JCW? Not yet. Not yet, because Walden's hanging tough in the middle.
Now, Zach, remember last week when we spoke to Barry, he said he doesn't really like the high line, and the high line seems to be working.
Does. Which will throw his theory out of order, unfortunately. But and the midline's working as well. They haven't really got to the high line. It's the midline and the low line, isn't it? So we wait and see.
Yeah, that's correct.
Carroll Walden's got him covered at the moment. Barry Neal in fourth. They can't afford Williams to get away any further. Although that being said, Williams has actually closed the gap by 1/4 of a second on Michael Schroeder as well. And here comes Neil having a lunge. So all of a sudden, it's a 1.5 seconds separating the top 4. There they are. Oh, Neil down the inside. Got him. Finally got him. It took him 4 laps, but he finally got Barry Neil up into 3rd position. And Josh Carroll Walden back to 4th, but for how long? Carroll Walden wants to force the issue. Now Neil's got him covered. Would Barry Neil be about to stage the upset? Has he got enough time? Has he got enough pace? Or has Stephen Williams got enough pace? Because Williams, have a look at that. Have a look at that. Williams is within 4 car lengths. He's within 0.4 of a second now. He just took out 0.3 of a second on the previous lap of Michael Schroeder. We're going to have 5 laps to go and 4 possible race winners. Barry Neil dragged Josh Carroll Walden along for the ride here.
He's the only car in the 31s at the moment. It's a 31.9, but it's still a 31.
Hey, he's going to the high side.
Got him. Got him. Got him. Williams to the lead. And has him covered. Schroeder looking to fight back on the inside. Sideways, sliding through 3 and 4. That is marvellous commitment from the 2 of them. A gap, 1.3 seconds between the top 4. Extraordinary. Extraordinarily tight and close fight here with 4 laps to go. Now, is there a sting in the tail? Because a caution now would mean green, white, checkered. And all bets are off, anyone would win it. Josh Carroll Walden looks like he's a sitting duck in all of that, unfortunately. Sitting down in position 4 with no help. Barry Neil is closing in on Michael Schroeder. Barry Neil's on his way here. 3 laps to go. What can Neil muster up in the 22?
He's trying to work that draft.
Now remember, if we get back to the line and we get the white flag, the next flag ends the race. And we're 2 laps away from that being an issue.
Here he goes. He got it.
Neil got the job done on Schroeder. Made it look easy.
Schroeder hit the wall, actually.
Oh, no wonder. Carroll Walden's going to come through around the outside or up the inside, one or the other. He's going to come to 3rd all of a sudden. And all of a sudden, our 3 tips are sitting there. 1, 2, and 3 again. 2 to go. Pending overtime, potentially. Carroll Walden and Schroeder side by side through 1. Round the outside goes Carroll Walden to 3rd. Williams, Neil, Carroll Walden and Schroeder. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Carroll Walden and Schroeder, forget about them. They're out of business here. They get back to the line. They get the white flag. Next flag ends the race. The next flag ends the race. Stephen Williams, what a performance from him. Has he had a race win so far this year, Mark?
No, I don't think so.
Another new race winner. So what did that be? Something like 11 or 12 different names on the winners sheet now? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yep.
So Stephen Williams in the 31, 2 corners from home, into 3 he goes. And Memorial Day weekend, the Memorial Day Cup in the Weekend Warriors Cup Car Series goes to the 31 as Stephen Williams joins an ever-growing winners rostrum in the Weekend Warriors Series. What a performance. What a win. What a charge home in the fight at the end there. And then again, a race ruled by rubber and strategy, and Williams has shone through. Barry Neal 2nd. Then Josh Carroll Walden, Michael Schroeder, and Darren McKenzie, the top 5. So, yeah, it just goes to show, Mark, next time you ask me who I think's going to win, who's my money on, I'm not going to say anything from now on because I've just been blown straight out of the park. Barry Neal, what a performance that was. But let's crank up the volume, ladies and gentlemen, celebrate and enjoy these doughies. Oh, what a superb performance. What a celebration. What a magnificent drive from Stephen Williams to win the Memorial Day Cup. I mean, Mark Johansson knows, having won the Anzac Cup, just how special that is. That is a superb performance from Williams.
That is a great drive for Steve. You know, to come from what he was towards the back, wasn't he, when he started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down 15th he started, 14th rather.
Yeah, what a great drive. You know, there's no other feeling like it to come from down there and take the cup.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Superb performance. So Williams, a new name on the winners roster. Weekend Warriors delivers again an absolute classic in the Memorial Day Cup. Williams from Neil, then Carroll Walden and Schroeder. Mackenzie home in 5th. Chevys 1, 3 and 4, Toyota 2 and Ford 5, 7 and 8. Another Chevy in 6, so 4 Chevys, 3 Toyotas and 3 Fords in the top 10. Devon Stove, Nathan Button behind Justin Witcher there, and in the end, 3 seconds covered the first 4. Not too bad, considering how long a green flag run we had there at the back end. Paul Jackson was 9th, and Aidan Schultz comes home 24 seconds behind the winner in 10th position. Over the page we go. This is a lap down and beyond. Some really sad, sorry stories here. Some wounded warriors out of our weekend warriors. Christian Koch, Kobe Jordan, 2 laps down. Then Stuart Patterson, Chris Tomlin, Nigel Patton, Will Jesberg, Scott McClintock. That was unlucky. Reese May, Dylan Davies, and Ruben Phelps. Now, anyone more than... Is it a 75% rule? They've got to complete 75% of the race, Mark? Is that right?
Nah.
No? So anyone that took the checkered flag is good?
Anyone that qualified and took the green flag, they'll get points down to 40th, 3rd spot.
Copy that. The 21st was Duran, 22nd Shaw, 23rd Jacobs, 24th Newlands, then Dale, Hickey, Patton, Legg, Herriel and Belitho, the early first retirement of the race, along with our good mate Mark Johansson here in the commentary position in the Chevy. Extraordinary night, extraordinary race. It gave us something. It had something for everyone. It gave us a little bit of everything. The only thing we didn't have was green, white checker, but after 7 cautions, I don't think we wanted another one. Well, Steve Williams, let's bring you in as the race winner, mate. Congratulations. Nice performance from 14th on the grid. Just goes to show that when it comes to oval racing, when it comes to these longer races, the old qualifying isn't as important as people would make it seem.
Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah, just main thing, stay out of trouble in those early stints, and yeah, be there at that. It's all important from that last pit stop. That's all that really matters.
Indeed. I'll Barry Neal, I know you're standing by over there in New Zealand. I know it's just gone midnight, mate. I'll get to you very shortly. I'll bring you in and let you go as soon as I possibly can here, but we'll focus with Steve first. Mate, that was an interesting strategy game, and it was only, like, you were a little bit of a quiet achiever for much of the night. You were thereabouts. You didn't lead too many laps. It was only the last handful of laps that you assumed the lead there and led some laps. It was all down to that last safety car, that last bit of strategy play with tyres and fuel at the back end there, and that was where we really... I think it was Mark or JP said, this guy's another one to watch, another contender here, and you set out and proved it.
I think Josh was unlucky getting caught out. I think he pitted early, and then if it had gone green, you know, he would have had it for sure. And Barry, I think I wouldn't have had anything for him over a long run either. I think he had a brush with the wall down the back straight, so had a bit of damage. So, yeah, got lucky.
Aidan Schultz, I'll bring you in at this point in time. If you can unmute yourself there, if you're able to, I'll bring you in because you are the regular series commentator, the regular expert. I might actually no, Schultz is not there. Forget about that. No, there he is. Sorry, I was hoping you were there because I was starting to look like a real deal. What I was going to say was, considering you are our regular series commentator, I might kneel on you for a few questions for the boys here as we go. Anything you want to ask Steve here?
Well, I'm still trying to get my thoughts on the race, to be honest. The Crank Esports 52 car was a solid top 3. They're having a good run. Definitely was an interesting race with those strategies. Steve, yeah, we had a good battle during the race at several occasions there. You're always really, really good at the oval with strategy, man. So really good win there. I don't know. I was clutching before the end. We were going green to the end before that last pit stop. I was clutching. I was going to be able to go green to the end. So how were you feeling? Were you going to be able to go green to the end after that last pit stop if we were green?
That's why I went in to get the fuel so I could make it to the end, and I was nearly going to get tyres as well. But then I thought, nah, there's been a few cautions, and just roll the dice and hope that there was another one to put that last set of tyres on.
Well, it definitely worked. And racing around you during the night, you could tell you weren't usually as quick as you are. You were managing car, managing tyres, trying to fight too hard. So definitely paid off at the end. And at the end, you're at the top. Mate. Well done.
Thanks for that.
Hey, Steve, I'll just chime back in here. And if JP or Mark have anything they want to throw your way, I'll open the floor to them in a moment as well. When you look at Las Vegas, it's an interesting racetrack. It has its challenges. You've conquered that tonight. But what's more interesting is when we look at your pit stops completed, 8 pit stops tonight. So obviously there was a green flag pit stop in there, but did you hop in under every caution?
I just at the start there, every caution I just kept on coming in just to top it up, just so I could run a little bit longer than the fellas at the front, to kind of, get on a different strategy to them. But it ends up cautions later on bring you back together anyway. So yeah, it's actually dangerous doing that going back, and you could get caught up in the stuff at the back.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly, Steve.
yeah.
I don't mean to jump in.
No,
Zach,
go for
but
it.
exactly. And if you go and watch the broadcast back, Zach jumped on board with my car probably 30, 40 laps in. And I made that call. I was thinking about topping up, but I made the call. I go, it's better off to be in the top 4 or 5 here and out of the rubbish can happen down the back. So, yeah, good strategy play there. I wasn't willing to put myself there, but job getting through it and getting up to P1.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, Aiden? Before Steve chimes back in here, it's a risk-free reward thing, isn't it? And it's also a territory versus strategy. There's 2 different dynamics there, isn't there, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. I always try to get off filter with the rest of the field, so that sometimes it plays into your head to you really well. Other times it puts you nowhere. But yeah, I thought, yeah, it was early enough in the race. I can go back here, just really take it easy and keep out of trouble.
Eyewear, how was it for you?
Not too bad. You had to be careful though, as you could really burn it up on the exits of the corners and push, through the middle of the corner if it's a bit too hard. But yeah, not too bad really. The car didn't tighten up too bad at all.
All right, mate, stay there. I'll come back to you very shortly. I want to bring in Barry Neal at this point in time. Geez, I tell you what a stroke of luck for you, Barry. You scrape the wall one lap, you get a caution the next, and then you've only got a handful of seconds worth of damage repairs. And then, unfortunately, a sideways moment really cost you in the back end of the race, but you were able to somehow fight your way back through to second position. Is it the slide that cost you the win, or is it something else?
Oh, actually, Paul told me he couldn't see me, so I kind of went down to under the pole line because I thought I was in. I'd lost connection. The bar went red, and I went down to under the pole line. I kind of turned it sideways a bit. Darren hit me, and I just kind of stayed down there for a bit because I thought I was going to get in people's way. But then the connection came back, so I could get back on it again. So that was a bit of a shame. The connection went, but came back, so that was good. we certainly were hoping it wouldn't have any more yellows after those first green pit stops, because both Paul and I were going to be able to make it to the end on one less stop than everyone else, because we had done the same, and probably Steve as well. Actually, we'd done the same thing as Steve and got those early fuel, which meant that we had enough to actually go the whole way. So when it actually went yellow, it was a bit of a disappointment. But it's the ups and downs. You could play the game, try different strategies, but it's not until the last 50 laps that it really happens.
Well, that's exactly right. A game of strategy and so many other things. So that answers the question. We were wondering who had the big net code. It was Barry Neal. How disappointing it would have been to lose you over net code. You must have been relieved when the connection came back.
Yeah, I was kind of suddenly everyone just disappeared, and I was down on the pole line, and I was just running around underneath, and then suddenly everyone came back as I was kind of getting towards the start-finish line. So I thought, oh, good, I'll get back on it again. So yeah, the joys of living in the country. I don't have the flashiest internet connection.
Well, it seemed to work all right for 99.5% of the night, mate. Very nicely done. Same question I asked Steve. Tyre wear strategy. It was an interesting night at the office.
Yeah, I like the green runs. I can generally hold my tyres better than a lot of people. I can't run the pace that people run at the start of a run and keep my tyre life. So I always let them pass when they get close, and just let them easily pass, and try and just fall in behind, so that later on I can come back at them. And generally I do if it's a long run.
Schultz, I'll bring you back in at this point in time, and you can throw a question at Baz if you want to. And JP, Mark, feel free to throw some questions around here as well. We'll see how we go with the championship points in just a moment too, boys. But look, Aidan, we spoke about this before the race. We've spoken about it before in other broadcasts as well. There's no need to run like a scolded cat, as Mike Raymond would say, at the start of the race, because inevitably there are going to be cautions that are going to bring you back to the pack. So there are some people like Barry who are quite content to sit there and just run their pace until it's time to wind up the wick.
Yeah, definitely. And I run against Barry. So Barry, great job. Drive. It was a great race against you. As you said before, backed off there and saved tyres and master. Absolute master. Again, you rose to the top, so great drive there. But with the strategy and everything tonight, it was different. How do you feel the race went for you, though? Like, I saw you and Paul. Paul got back on the lead lap. He had a bit earlier. How do you feel the race went, though? I see that you did back off and you were waiting. Is that what you were doing?
I don't know if it's my internet connection or yours, but I hardly heard anything you said.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Your internet connection went down mid-race too. I was behind you, and next you were gone. But no, what I was saying is great race, mate. Absolute drive. Again, tyre where you managed tyres and brought the car to the front. You always do. Well done.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, no, I like to think that I haven't quite got it right yet, but there's still some more to do, to learn about the stuff. I'm always learning, and every race you learn how to do it ever so slightly better, and just that whole getting the balance between trying to go as fast as you can to not lose the leaders or lose position, but save enough tyre is a very delicate balance. And I haven't quite got it yet, but I'm working on it, and I think that's for long runs is the answer.
Yeah, definitely. You did really well. I was trying to work on that as well, and you have me in the past trying to work on my stuff, and I thought I was going all right for a top 5 tonight, and got caught up with something. It's not about me at the moment; it's about you. So great drive tonight, mate. Absolute stellar drive to get up there in.
No, thanks. Yeah, The and as you know, I'm just watching the replay actually about, because Steve talks about getting stuck back in traffic and some of the dramas that can unfold there, and yeah, it's a real worry. I'm just watching someone whacked into me when I seem to have given them lots of room. You got to be really careful. That's the other thing about when you choose what Steve chose and Paul chose and I chose. At times when you drop back, it's sometimes hard work to race with people you don't normally race with and give them enough room.
And Barry, you hit the nail on the head there. And Zach jumped in my car a couple of times and chat during the race, and I was thinking topping up some fuel because I was really worried about fuel at the end. Second last stint, I was clutching a lot, trying to save fuel, and I was good to the end, have those late cautions, and got caught up with someone that have fresh tyres. But definitely it was whether you're going to come in top up, whether you want to put yourself back there. And I know me personally, I definitely myself back there because I might have got caught in something. Shows that Stevie Dub, he always does himself. Even JCW had a stellar drive as well. So, yeah, great drive. Great drive by all night. There was a lot of guys that caught up in fortunate incidents, but yeah, it was a really good race, and it was a long one. You had to have a lot of concentration. It was a couple of hours racing, so yeah, again, great drive, mate. Always at the front, love racing.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks.
Shorty, just check that internet connection of yours, and I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Because I know what Barry was saying about you being a little bit patchy, and it's like a patchwork quilt, the drop in and out at the moment. So just double check that for me, and I'll come back to you when I can. In the meantime, let's go back to Barry. Actually, no, let's go back to Stephen. Just on something that Aiden was saying, and I was able to interpret the majority of it.
Sorry, Zach, it's probably because I was on voice activity. My apologies.
Right. Copy that, mate. Easy done. That's an easy fix. I'm glad. Now, Stephen, just going back to all of that, choosing to run back in the pack, you've really got to have your wits about you, don't you? I mean, there's a real risk awareness back there because of that potential for getting caught up through in other people's incidents. So, two-part question. Firstly, how much more alert, how much more of a strain does that put on you, mentally speaking, having to be aware of those different factors? And two, how easy or how difficult did you find it to weave through the traffic tonight?
Just when you're back there with people you're unfamiliar with, you just give them a bit more room than regulars that you can race with close side by side. You know, they're not going to drift up the track, exit a corner into you. You can actually nearly even pinch them down a bit and be confident that they're gonna, just not turn you. With the fellas at the back, you'd really got to be careful to just that let a little bit more room because it's a bit more unpredictable.
Indeed. Now, we'll get back to Barry Neal very shortly. In the meantime, let's bring in Josh Carroll Walden, because I tell you what, I have to apologise. The boys asked me about 30 laps from home who my tip was at the time. You were the form man all the way through that race, especially when our West Coast American friend Dave Duran dropped out of the server. You were in the box seat, mate. What happened in the last half hour, please?
Man, it's just it just came down to strategy in the end, and just where the cautions fell. Yeah, like there was that caution where we all came in, and it was about 45 to go, and like on one hand there were only about 16 guys left, and we'd done 90 100 lap green flag period, prior to that. And on the other, it was getting towards the end of the race, and people were gonna be putting their sheep stations online. So ultimately, it had to be a quick decision. I didn't have long to think about it. I elected to choose to take my last set of tires in that pit stop, and it just didn't work out for me tonight. And you would, oval races, would all agree that that was the safe option, and it just didn't work out tonight.
For the two men that shared the booth with me, JP and Mark Johansson, anything you want to add to these guys so far? Anything you want to ask them?
Well, I'd just like to say congratulations to all three of them. Congratulations to Steve. You were my pick. Mate, there is a trophy to come your way. Once we're out of this COVID lockdown down here in Victoria, I'll go get it and get it to you. But well done, all three of you.
Yeah, cheers, Mark. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
All right. So on that note, nothing from JP at this point. He'll have the championship points for us in just a moment. In the meantime, Aiden, anything you want to throw Josh's way? I'll ask a couple more questions in a minute.
Yeah, Josh, we were in comms all night in the race, and we were pretty strong up there and having a good race and listening to everything that was going on, mate. But stellar drive. It was good to be able to get in the car instead of being in the broadcast booth tonight. I've been looking forward to this race all year, and very happy with the result, even though I'm unhappy at the same time. But from you, mate, stellar drive. You were super quick all night. Don't know how you did it with the tyre wear, but I know that you were worried there with the fuel drop, and I was doing the same thing. I had the same worry. So that last caution probably helped you a little bit, but just a good drive, mate. Really good to be on board with you and have a chat, and you're always at the top. And mate, I suppose I got to jump in, Zach, and ask these guys, Josh, especially, like, anyone you want to thank tonight for your P3, mate? Like, I know that you were fighting Michael Schroeder there, and he dropped back with a bit of tyre wear. Anyone you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, well, I guess I just gotta, thank guys I was racing, tonight first and foremost. Particularly, at the start, me and David, in that first stint, me and him, we were having a good battle up there, and I pulled a nice move around him about 50 laps in, and shout out to you, Barry, and you, Steve. I didn't let you pass easily, but got it done, and shout out to Schroeder. He had a really good chance to take it tonight, but just unfortunately hit a wall, and it just all unraveled. So got a feel for the guy, and shout out to my Natari Autosport teammates, Edward Foster, Jason Ardigan, Norman Clark. Things haven't been that smooth for us in the recent past, but they should get smoother as time goes on, and just sponsors as well: Fergus Group Media, Bridgestone Select, Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, AJ Insurance Services, and shout out to Mark and all the other admins for Weekend Warriors for putting these events together every single week.
Yeah, thanks, mate. You're definitely always at the top there, mate, and you showed your class again tonight. So amazing drive, and well done, as was Barry and Steve. The usuals at the front, and you just showed your class again tonight.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, Josh, just before you go, mate, and stick around, everybody, because obviously we've got championship points and a couple of other things to get through. A couple more thank yous. Paul Jackson standing by for a quick chat as well. I'll let you, Barry, and also you, Steve, thank your respective sponsors in just a moment. Josh, one more thing I wanted to ask you, though. Where were you with regards to tyre wear? Because obviously, as you said, it was a game of strategy and a few other things. How was the tyre wear factor for you, though? Because we were noting halfway through the third stint, I think it was, just before everyone came in there for that last pit stop, how the times had considerably dropped off from your fastest in the 30s to then your slowest in about the 32 bracket.
Yeah, man. Tires were a real balancing act tonight. Like, the tire wear wasn't bad. It was just about focusing the tire wear rate on the right rear and the right front. So yeah, like it was a challenge all night, and it got harder as the race went on because the track was cold all night, and obviously as well we're racing into the night, so yeah, it was a challenge to keep the tires balanced, and I think it definitely wasn't as good at night compared to some of the other guys out there, but yeah, man, I just gritted down, tried to do my best with what I had, and yeah, I had to get the grit in between my teeth at the end there with all these guys around me on fresh tires. But yeah, I'm happy with P3 tonight.
And so you should be, mate. Very nicely done. All right, let's bring in Paul Jackson at this point in time because he's been sitting there patiently with us for a little while now. He finished 9th tonight. If he's able to unmute his mic, we'll welcome him into the conversation here. Good on you, Jacko. Hey, mate, 20 positions gained. You've got to be happy with that part of proceedings. Again, proving that qualifying isn't the most important part of the race meeting. You worked your way through. You got a top 10 finish. What'd you make of the night?
It was certainly a struggle to make those spots. Yeah, had a bit of damage in that first caution, the first few laps in, and that gave me about a minute of damage. So the car didn't really have the acceleration on the start, but it actually helped over the long run with fuel and tyre strategy and that. And at one point before those last couple of cautions, it was looking like I was going to be the only one who was going to make it home on fuel without stopping again. And that would have been huge to have that in the bag. But unfortunately, another couple of cautions come out, so that ruined that plan. And then got caught in another little tiff, which gave me another bit of damage. And I was looking good for a top 7 sort of spot, and yeah, that put me back to 9th. So here's what it is. Made up a few spots, so still happy with that.
I was going to say, yeah, strategy got thrown out the window basically when we got that caution with 45 to go because we knew everyone could fuel up and get home and maybe take tyres if they wish. Also, interesting to note too, the damage factor. So to fight back from the minute of repairs, the early incident, the cautions, all that sort of stuff, to still salvage a top 10 out of all of that when the night started as poorly as it did, considering you were in the lane under the first caution, that's got to be nice too.
Yeah, I managed to get all the damage fixed in that lap rolling around, so there wasn't any damage. But yeah, obviously there's the damage as you obtain damage, even though it's fully fixed. You still have the car not fully fixed, so to say, as if you had a fast repair. And yeah, it just wipes off a little bit of speed, top end speed and acceleration and that. So that's hurt a little bit. Yeah, I had pretty good pace even with a damaged car over the long run.
Schultzy knows all about that. I mean, where were you in the end with regards to your repairs, Schultzy? Did you get them all sorted?
No, mate. Probably
I
had
didn't think
about
so.
probably had about 2 minutes left. Very unfortunate. Definitely had the top 3 car there, but yeah, Paul did an amazing job to get there in P9 after being involved in something early. But yeah, no, short answer to your question is no. I did come in and try and get those repairs done, but I didn't get them all done. And as Paul just mentioned, yeah, the top end speed when you have a little bit of damage definitely does play a part. And it also plays a part with your tyres as well. So on that long run at the end, even though we had damage, it made that front right wear a lot quicker than it usually would with a fresh car. So, yeah, it was interesting, but great drive tonight, Paul. Good job, mate. Really, really good to see you come back up there to a P9 tonight, mate.
Yeah, thanks, man. I actually found the opposite. Like I didn't actually find with obviously you sustained a bit more damage, but yeah, I found over the long run I could preserve those tyres, and I sort of made up 10 spots in the in that stint by running it out. So
yeah, what I found there through the race though, with damage it's different. When I had a clean car for the first 160 laps, it was it was really comfortable to drive. But when I didn't, you can overdrive it because you're trying to go too hard because you don't have the pace down the straight. So you're trying to go too hard and you forget that, okay, well, my tyres are going to burn up here. And that's what I found with mine. And that's why I had nothing. I saw that behind you, I probably had about 5 seconds to get to you and I was slowly getting there. But then it sort of just stagnated out and top 10 was all I could get. But yeah, man, just great drive tonight to come back from where you were. Really, really good drive. It's good to see. And a good consolidating result for your championship, mate.
Yeah, well, that certainly helped both Barry and I for the team championship points. So it'll be a strong point gain for this race, I think, between us. So extending that gap at the front there for the team points.
I think the other thing important to note too, Paul, and probably an oversight when I was talking to you about the recovery after the early race incident, the fact that you had 3 cautions as quickly as you did, that worked right into your wheelhouse there, being able to top off those fast repairs, get back on the lead lap and a few other things.
Yeah, well, there weren't any fast repairs, but
sorry.
yeah, as I said, I got all the damage fixed in that first caution, so I didn't really sustain any other damage until towards the end of the race, which the caution didn't come out. It was just hard racing between myself and Nathan there. We
Yes.
yeah, got into each other for the spot because I'd passed him and then he ducked under me down the back straight and passed me again, and yeah, we had a bit of a tangle, but we both kept it going. So
Now on that subject, Schultzy, we had 7 cautions tonight. Were you surprised that we got through the last 30 laps as cleanly as we did?
Not really. The guys that run this league are top-notch drivers. I was surprised we had that many cautions, to be honest. It was a really good race. I thought going probably halfway through it, yes, we had a caution early, but I was thinking we might have gone green to the end. But a lot of these guys race each other week in, week out, 2-3 times a week. So I was surprised we had that many cautions, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely surprised. And if you go back and have a look at other races, they definitely do go green or at least have 1 or 2. But yeah, short answer to your question, even though I made it long, Zach, is yeah, I was surprised there was that many cautions, mate. Definitely. And I was a part of one of them. So that's very
right.
fortunate.
The reason I mention it though is because we were sitting here in central commentary, Mark, JP, and I, talking about the potential for it to become a 3-stop race if we kept getting cautions at the rate that we did, because of the fact that some of you guys were able to stretch out that first stint from what would have been normally a 45 lap run to 55.
Yeah, it definitely was a 3-stop race. I know from my end, it was. So through that second stint, I was doing a lot of clutching, as I've mentioned earlier in the broadcast now. I was probably good to go green and probably had 2 laps left before all those cautions happened at the end. So I wasn't banking on those cautions. I didn't want them to come out because I would have got up there, and that's what put me back. And especially when that caution came out in the last caution, not the last caution, the first caution under green at the end, when I was like 2 meters from coming into pit lane, and the caution came out, and I got done for entering a closed pit where you couldn't go anywhere. So that sort of stuffed me up, but and then put me at the back to get involved in an incident. But anyway, not about me. Let's get on to the guys. And yeah, great drive by everyone tonight. But yeah, definitely it could have been done on 3, but you definitely, and I know Dave Durand, he was talking, and JCW will back me up on this. He was talking about fuel saving as well and doing a lot of clutching and trying to do the 3 stint as well. So it could have been done, but it was not how the race panned out.
Just a bit of an insight on that one. It definitely couldn't have been done. Because, yeah, we'd done a cheeky pit stop at around 10 laps in on that first caution where a lot of people stayed out.
Yes.
And got that splash there. So, and as I said, if it did go green, I was literally fumes on being the only one that would have made that home.
Yeah, it's different, Paul, though, because different drivers were doing different things in this one. You can clutch and drop 2 seconds a lap and try and get that fuel to get in there. So, but that's the interesting thing, and that's why we love going NASCAR racing here on Weekend Warriors, because all the strategies are different, and everyone has different opinions on what they're doing and what they're going to do. And at the end of the day, we have 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Steve Williams P1, Barry Neal P2, and Josh Carroll Oldham P3. So,
yeah. All right. 3 things that we've got to tick off here, boys, before we rock and roll out of here on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, depending upon where you are, or a Saturday morning if you were over on the West Coast or the East Coast of America. It's only 8:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 on the West Coast. Brave souls that have hung it out tough with us for over 3.5 hours now. JP, let's throw up the championship points and have a look here because, by gee, they're worth a look after. Round 16 of the championship, Darren McKenzie, 444, still holds the lead. Dave Duran, even with tonight's misfortune, 396. Josh Carroll Walden up to 379, Steve Williams 370, and then Paul Jackson 361. So we've got, in the server right now, in our commentary position, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the championship. Dylan Davies 6th, Mark Johansson stays 7th, Barry Neal up to 8th, Adam Merrill 9th, and Scott McClintock is 10th. We'll let the points keep rolling there. Schultzy, I've got a couple of questions for you a little bit later on, but first, I want to get to the boys with regards to next week. From what Mark tells me, it's the finger-licking 400 from Kentucky. Yes, I know I've just made everyone that's thinking about a midnight snack feel hungry again. I'm sorry. Let's get your thoughts on that, starting with you, Steve Williams.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to make it. I might be away. That's not too sure yet if I'll be back for that one.
Makes it hard to commit to a full season campaign being on a Saturday night, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I haven't really committed to anything at the moment after. I've been doing too much last season, the season 1 of the year, and just thought I'll just pick races at random.
Well, that's fair enough too. Social life, work life, a few other things get in the way. We understand that people can't make it every single week, but well done to everyone that's been involved in the series thus far, Mark.
Yeah, it is appreciated, the guys that do turn up week in, week out, but the guys that can't make every week too, it's great to see them decide to come out and have a race, have a run with us and make it interesting.
Indeed it is. Well done to all involved there. From Steve to Josh Carroll Walden, your thoughts on next week, please?
Yeah, Kentucky. It's actually quite more on the unique side of things in terms of like the ovals that we go to for cup racing. It's actually quite a flat track and it's quite wide. But yeah, it is actually quite short at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be about how you manage your right front and how you actually get the car turned. And basically, try and find the best line. So, yeah, it's a fairly unique track. Like I personally don't like it that much, but it does have its place. So, yeah, it's going to be a very very different race. Next week, next Saturday. It's like Kentucky is actually fairly close to a short track actually, but no, it's 1.5 miles.
Certainly is, and it's a great little 1.5 miles as well. Let's go from you up to Barry Neal and get your thoughts on it now, mate. Just having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Barry, go for it, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I always thought it was similar, but with Josh talking, I'm now confused about what happens at Kentucky. So, whatever track I'm always keen to run. I love running. I love coming out on a Saturday night when I can and trying as hard as I can to win actually. So and have fun.
Indeed. It'd be remiss of me not to get the. Actually, we lost Jacko. He's gone. Let's get Aiden's thoughts on that because, I mean, you won't be racing Kentucky. You'll be in the booth. But, I mean, it throws up, again, different challenges to what tonight threw up in Las Vegas.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to calling Kentucky. Of course, I want to be behind the wheel, but this is my one and only one tonight. But looking forward to Kentucky. It's going to be a really good race. We're going to see the usual contenders at the front, I'm sure, but a great field of cars tonight. And yeah, looking forward to next week. Can't wait to get behind the booth and call it for the next round of Weekend Warriors.
I said to JP earlier in the evening that you would that he would have trouble reeling you back into the commentary box if you had won or got a podium finish tonight. So you didn't go and do that. So we'll get you back easier.
Mate, I don't know if I was on for it, but it doesn't matter, mate. That's racing. It doesn't, as they say, it doesn't matter until the fat lady sings, or not over till the fat lady sings. But
No.
again, not about me tonight. It's about the top three. So great drive, and yeah, look forward to getting back in the booth next week at Kentucky.
Yeah, looking forward to. I'll try my best to tune into the call while I'm out in Warwick next Saturday night, but I can't make any promises on all of that. Schultzy, I'll get back to you in just a moment. I need to get to these guys to deliver some thank yous. Actually, Schultzy, you can deliver some thank yous as well, because no doubt there's a few people that you want to tip the hat to on the back of tonight. Steve Williams, let's get some thank yous from you.
Yeah, just basically the broadcast team are doing such a great job week on week. You know, JP in the background with SimShed Broadcasting. Always, yeah, it's a great job. Awesome to watch back. Mark and the team for putting it on every week. You know, it's a lot of work that goes on in the background. I think there's Nathan and Scott, the two that I think are helping out running the series. And then just simrigs.com, Ben Max Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Services, NP Designs, and all the fellas at DPR Racing.
Nicely done, mate. Well done on the win. We've heard from Josh Carroll Walden already. Let's go to Barry Neal.
Yeah, no, thanks to Mark and Nathan and Scott, etc. Because you know they've been doing it for a while and they get women all sorts of grief at times, but they put on a great event. So thanks to them. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to Josh and Steve and everyone else that comes out and races. Thanks to MRX Racing Sims and Tony Richards Toyota.
Nicely done, mate. Schultzy, go for it.
Mate, look, I'd just like to thank, I'm not part of the top three, so I shouldn't really thank anyone, but I'd just like to thank SimShed Broadcasting for allowing me to get in and commentate the Weekend Warriors League and allowing me to race tonight and Memorial Weekend. So really appreciate that one. But if I do chuck a quick plug in, thank you to the Crank Esports guys and Chris Pennell and all the guys at Virtual Motorsport Mentor for allowing me to be a part of the team. But yeah, SimShed Broadcasting for being able to broadcast the Weekend Warriors League and allow me to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of SimShed Broadcasting, JP, get back in here with me, please. I'll let you give some thoughts on the night from your perspective. Obviously playing commentator and producer, multitasking, not an easy thing to do. But more than that, these broadcasts wouldn't be possible without your great partners as well.
100%, mate. Look, I was busier than the proverbial one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest up here tonight, but it was a damn good race to watch. Really, you know, we were throwing our 2 cents in, saying, you know, getting behind our drivers, but look, this one went right down to the wire. It was great to watch. So that's absolutely fantastic. But I certainly have to send a couple of shout outs, obviously to everybody that watches us and keeps coming back and watching these broadcasts. We wouldn't be doing it if without your support. Of course, the commentary team, yourself, Aidan, Andrew Collins, Peter Gretton. Always great to have you guys on board and doing commentary. And of course, Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine, a great read. Check that one out. And of course, big thank you to Track Cams for Gourmets for providing these awesome camera angles that you see in the broadcasting, and SDK Gaming for the custom overlays that you see.
And of course, I think Britzy Australia always gets a plug from us as well. So a big thanks to them too. Schultzy, 16 rounds down, many to come. It's been a great season thus far. We're not quite at the business end yet, but what I'm enjoying about just floating in and out and doing a couple of races with you or filling in for you or whatever the case may be, the great variety, the great diversity, and the fact that there's no point in having a form guide because you just rip it up and tear it up and throw it out and shred it because it changes every single week.
Yeah, definitely there, Zach. And we saw tonight with Dave Durand with that unfortunate incident. I haven't been able to see the points at the moment, and that would have shaken it up a bit. But yeah, definitely a long way to go. This is a long series in the Weekend Warriors. We're probably not even halfway through. So a long way to go as we settle in for another 20 or 25 weeks or 20 weeks of comment.
Yeah.
So really look forward to that. And what you see now is not where it's going to be at the end of the series.
Makes one look forward to Christmas when you realise that that's still just over 6 months away, and we've still got about 20 weeks of motorsport to get us there, and then some with the supercars and other things that we're covering here on SimShed Broadcasting. Also, I mean, talk about consistency. Josh Carroll Walden, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Mark Johansson brought it to my attention. The fact that he's made 11 or 12 starts and all 12 have seen him finish inside the top 5. I mean, that is just incredible consistency at this point of the championship. Yes, he can't be here every week, but when he's here, he makes it count.
That doesn't surprise me from JCW. An absolute legend of a driver and a legend of a bloke. We, like I said, all these guys, we race against each other a lot every week, and in other series, they're always up there. So doesn't surprise me at all from JCW. So really good driver. And if he keeps connecting on a Saturday night, don't be surprised if he gets up to the top at the end of this series.
No, not at all. And of course, I think the final thing we'll comment on with regards to the championship, Darren McKenzie, Mr. Consistent. I mean, he might not be winning races, but he's right there. And that's essentially all you need to be. He might be playing a Rick Kelly role, if I can bring that unfortunate memory up again. Yeah. Schultzy?
Yeah, Darren's always good. He's always quick on the one-lap pace. He has struggled in history, or whatever the word is, with his tyre wear. He's gone a little bit quick too early, as I can do as well. But he seemed to get his head around that lately, and he's polished off those results. So that's helped him a lot. He's been really good. So he's going to be one to look out for with Dave Durand, Paul Jackson and Barry, and that in the end of this season as well. So a lot of different tracks, a lot of different things that are going to go on. So very interested to be able to call this moving into the back end of the Weekend Warriors League.
Any rate of attrition in this race tonight, Mark?
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to give you some stats quickly.
Yeah,
16 rounds of contested so far.
Yep.
We've had 12 different pole sitters.
Wow.
And 10 different winners.
Yeah, extraordinary, isn't it? Just the numbers that keep racking up week in, week out. 10 different race winners. That's quite extraordinary already. And no doubt that list will grow as we edge closer to the end of the season. What are your final observations of tonight, Mark? What did you make of it from the booth?
Unfortunately, I wasn't out there. So, but a great drive from Steve, you know. Again, a great drive from Barry and JCW. I'd just like to thank each and every one of our drivers that come out each week and support us. I know we don't always get things right, but, you know, they keep coming back week in, week out. And without them, we couldn't put on the show that we do. So thanks very much to those guys. And thanks to you, Zach, Aidan and JP for broadcasting it to us.
Yeah, no, it's been an absolute privilege to be in here on another pretty significant night for the Weekend Warriors. Of course, Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine support the series as the naming rights sponsor. The Weekend Warriors, the Cup Car Championship, done and dusted for another week. A really superb performance from Stephen Williams. As I said, Memorial Day Cup, right up there with the Anzac Cup, the two special signature events of the season. And I'm just having a look here through our schedule of our our contestants in the race, our drivers, as far as the Warriors, the servicemen were concerned. Barry Neal, best placed in second place there. Paul Jackson, a top 10 finish as well. Scott McClintock, we know what happened to him. Mark, we know what happened as well. Michael Schroeder, fourth. Well done to him. Bill Hickey dropped out early in the piece. And, of course, Dave Durand and Derek Jacobs, unfortunately, not a great night at the office for them as well. But, I mean, Neal, Schroeder, Jackson, all in the top 10. Really good stuff to see. Not the fairy tale we saw in Talladega, but still a great result all the same. I think that's just about it. Anything else anyone wants to add in before we sign off here?
Just tune into SimShed broadcasters for midweek racing. Some great V8s and other races.
You've provided the perfect segue for me, mate. There's the look ahead at what's coming away on the platforms of SimShed broadcasting across, of course, the platforms of YouTube and Facebook. The Nationwide Technology Systems V8 Super Series penultimate round action for you coming up Tuesday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time from 8:20 p.m. They're off to Brands Hatch. Final stop in the UK, third and final stop in the UK, and it'll be our last stop in Europe for the season. Of course, the finale over 250 kilometres away. It's on Mount Panorama the week later or the week after. That is Tuesday, June 1. Make sure you join us 8:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then June 2, Goodyear V8 T2 E-Series. Goodyear Autocare Warana, the naming rights sponsor of the V8 T2 E-Series. That's 8:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Of course, Matt Davis and Andrew Collins with you for that one. There's been some super racing in the development split right throughout the season. Long may that continue. They've got 100 kilometres ahead of them at Brands Hatch on Wednesday night. Next Saturday night, Schultz's back in the booth. We've streamlined everything except Saturday night. We start at 7:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. That'll be for the Weekend Warriors Cup car racing with thanks to Short Shift Sim Racing Magazine. Hayden Schultz will be back in the booth. Not sure who with. Could be JP again, could be someone else. We will find out. But, of course, it's the finger-looking 400 from Kentucky, the next assignment for the Weekend Warriors Cup Series, and we are looking forward to that immensely. It's been a great night here, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've enjoyed it. My thanks to JP, my thanks to Mark Johansson. Great to have him in the booth, despite the fact that we would have preferred to see him on the circuit. Thanks to JP for double duties. And pulling them off so successfully throughout the course of the night. Aiden, I hope I've kept the seat nice and warm for you, mate, and handing it back to you in one piece. I hope that's what I'm doing.
You definitely did, but you did put the curse on me, so.
Well, that's true too. And that certainly wasn't intentional, but I'm having a run of that at late. That's it from us. Hope you've enjoyed it at 11 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. on the East Coast and 6 a.m. on the West Coast of America on Memorial Day weekend. We say a very good night to you. Just recapping a couple of things before we go. In the AFL, West Coast went down to Essendon. And Gold Coast Gold Coast got up over Hawthorn, I should say, to the tune of 37 points. So Hawthorn going down and West Coast going down tonight. I've already mentioned the NRL. MotoGP qualifying underway. Jack Miller was seventh fastest in free practice 4, I should say, just a few moments ago. He's fourth in free practice 3. And Remy Gardner, second fastest yet again in free practice 3 and Moto 2 as well. They're qualifying to come after MotoGP. So plenty of motorsport to get you sink your teeth into as Saturday night ends and Sunday morning begins. Don't forget Indy 500 Monday morning, 1 a.m. Coke 600, all on Fox Sports 7:30 on Monday morning as well. So plenty of motorsport to sink your teeth into this weekend on what is an enormous weekend for the Americans with Memorial Day weekend. Again, as we said on Anzac Day, a huge tip of the hat and big thank you to all of the servicemen and women for what they do, because dead set we wouldn't be the free country that we are without their loyal, dedicated service. There's no doubt about that. We're very lucky to live where we do. On behalf of JP and Mark Johansson, Aiden Schultz, and the team, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you next time. Bye for now.